buy-side platform helping brands buy ads on various properties. They are accusing Google of illegally monopolizing the ad tech market, and they're expecting billions of dollars in damages in this antitrust suit. So PUBM antitrust suit against Google. Not a ton of volume on this, but a volume spike with this catalyst. Again, I think it's about 300,000 shares traded so far in the day for PUBM. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adira. And as Joseph and I sign off, send it to the big boys, I want to bring to your attention SNTG. We brought this one to you guys during the news segment. It is back into the area high, 875. It's up 318%. This one's really going SNTG. Trade it carefully. Joey, leave him with a thought, baby.
Yeah, no, guys, it's a little bit of a choppy session throughout the day. We had a major runner in OCTO, so that's some phenomenal stuff. Well, guess what? It's only Monday, and we got the rest of the week to trade, Sharif. So keep those risk measures in place, and let's rock and roll.
Good to have you back, brother. All right,
Thank
big
you.
boys. They're they're not that way anymore.
No,
they're kind of like that way now.
They're southeast.
Bang.
So, are we southeast?
Yeah, we are southeast of where they are. I mean, we're about 10 feet away, but southeast is accurate there. Yeah, look, I mean, I know as they were just saying there, maybe, I'm not sure negative or positive on the midday, but the idea at the end of the day is, as Joe mentioned, early days. I mean, right now, beginning of the week, the Nasdaq has pulled back just a little bit right there. And we were just talking a little bit about Robinhood. We've cleared out of that trade. This OCTO continues to go. Shout out to everybody that's right here with us right now. We got to be a big shout out to Bobby Axelrod here, showing #1 right here. And I put it here, first one there. Lucky 7 is here. Bobby Axelrod's here. Neil's here. So get into the chat immediately. What's up, video news? First? Nah, you almost first. You almost first. But everyone is here. Is it live? Yeah, we live. We live right now. So get ready for that. Hopefully it's is it live now or is it turned over or not?
Shoot,
people have no stream right now.
Guys, I have no stream. I'm not seeing it.
Andre and everybody else, maybe we are not live after all.
I'm going to try again.
But I don't know. I thought we were live. So we'll just keep on going there. Yeah, I don't.
All right, there we go. I restarted it now.
Restart it now?
Try if it's not live, just try restarting and go back out and jump back in. It looks like I see myself.
Oh, do you do? Okay, good.
Oh, wait a minute. No.
Stream is not live. Okay.
No, it's not.
Do we have anybody working here?
Is it good? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us now? Okay, so we're locked and over on it. If you're in the chat, what's really cool, and I'll keep the chat up here because we might as well be talking to you guys. If you are not seeing anything, stick with us, but we should be good. I wanted to give a shout out to Bobby Axelrod as well because he mentioned something which is really cool. I'm a bit of a baseball fan. I mean, people probably know this. Dale Murphy put him in the Hall of Fame and then mentioned he was friends with Dale Murphy. Long time and one of the best center fielders of all time. He's one of those dudes that had, his peak was brief, but if you could say you were the best in the game for like 3 or 4 years or 5 years, then to me, you should be in the Hall of Fame. OCTO may not last forever, but it's going to be one of those types of, if you remember seeing it go up 4,000%, actually more than that, because I think at the actual peak it was over 5,000% to the upside. Then you'll never you don't forget things like this. You don't forget things like HKD. You don't forget GameStop, obviously, was the other one. But Tom Lee at it again because BitMine, BMNR. Yeah, they bought. They bought.
Oh, they're in it. Yeah.
I mean, are they still in it? I have no idea. But they bought $20 million worth at $1.46. I'm going to assume they've taken profit. I feel like that's a safe assumption at this point. But because if you haven't, that would be completely insane. But yeah, OCTO with the WorldCoin treasury. I actually looked up WorldCoin. It was crazy because WorldCoin actually stopped moving at about 11 o'clock, and this thing just kept going.
All right. I hope everyone is with us and able to have withstood that first couple minutes. So thank you so much for all of that. Yeah, the live stream was halted. Yeah, our live stream got halted by OCTO there again. So many halts happening today. I've been shorting. I haven't done anything really all afternoon, just looking for Amazon short. We did get stopped out right there when it broke the top, but got back in on a 50-period break, able to take a little bit of profit. Just trying to see what Amazon does up into this level. But yeah, it was. We just did a little thing on Robinhood, and that was, for me, the trade there. We got it right early. Good break there on S&P 500, good break of 112. So we had the 112 first, then we had the 110, then it started popping, and we got out right there on the break of 116 downside. So that turned out to be okay. High of the day right here on Robinhood, 116.18, or sorry, 116.81. I have 117.70 as all-time highs. So we'll wait to see if we can get up to there. It's looking more and more like we can. So yeah, so far so good there today. And then Alibaba, we've just added a little bit to that trade right here. Again, it's been really sideways, but I just realizing now that we're bouncing off VWAP, so maybe we'll take some out here for Alibaba, but this has been a trade that we've been working on pretty much all day. We were long, then we were short, and we just add to it right here. So we'll give it a second right there. What's up, Silverado Blue? You're welcome for all the help today. I don't know exactly what I did, but you're welcome to there in the chat. The thing is, too, guys, get into the chat like ASAP. You got to hit the like and the subscribe on the feed, which is now working. So here's the feed right here. 28 likes. That's going to be wrong, of course, if you refresh it. That'll update a bit. So hit the like, hit everything. There he is. What's up, Roaring Kitty right there? Or that's Tenev.
Roaring Kitty.
Look like Roaring Kitty there. It's not Vlad Tenev. Right there, 100 likes, only 1,300 watching. There had to have been a mistake. Oh yeah, the rollover, I guess, did not work.
Yeah, people will probably matriculate.
Yes,
in?
matriculated.
That's too much of a school word. Way too
right there.
Way too early in the week to say matriculate, apparently.
We're getting ready to have these guys move beside us.
Yeah.
I asked Mark for an ETA last time, and he was right on. So, Mark, any ETAs?
Mark's not playing around.
This week.
This week.
Okay, so pretty soon we'll get the double barrel action coming in. Oh, the monitors still need
I
to
thought
come
I saw the monitors.
Oh, those
are the
yeah, those went into the back of my car, but
okay,
the other ones maybe will come in soon. No, we're waiting for new equipment.
Hey man, the kids got to get new monitors.
These are what,
too,
24
right?
inch? 27 inch right now. So I came in and everything was like, wah.
Just like the rims, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just like the rims. Yeah, exactly. Monitor, rims. You know,
20 feet.
One or the other there.
They
but,
spin in.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so a lot of you did have some troubles getting in. So we want to thank everybody that's in now. Thanks, Frank, for explaining that. You had to get reloaded back in to the chat and to the stream.
Yes.
So thanks for all of that.
Oh.
All right, tonight we have some more earnings.
We're going to do the rundown.
Yeah, what is up with that stock?
SNTG.
It's a stinger.
Oh, right, there's another one. It's a stinger? No, it's the STNG. Halted just now at 1158. However, not to pour cold water on this.
Holdings.
Centage?
Centage.
Ooh, that's like
or
a little...
Cent Age.
Cent Age? Yeah, let's just go with Centage and sound like we're bougie. But the tap is actually down, even though it's halted up. Ooh. Right now, the theoretical auction price is 1051. So it's indicating an open to the downside, despite the fact that it is halted to the upside here. Lots of let's just say multi 100% runners here today on this Monday morning. But let's see what else is on the rundown. I have a sneaky suspicion there will be a couple of these runners on the list.
Potentially.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right, Neil. Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys are locked and loaded, and they're ready to look at tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers on the top right of the screen is to get into the chat today or any day and vote for your favorite tickers. Throw in that $ before any ticker of your choice. And OCTO making it here number one. We don't often see a small cap gapper at the top of the list, but this one, all sorts of strong guys, over 5,000%, getting to the high of 83.12, but it is breaking down substantially now, losing that $60 area. And looking to sort of retest these areas of resistance and support again. I just want to mention before we throw it back to the boys, I was so excited to talk about a small cap gapper at the top of the list. I forgot to look at the market in general. The NQ guys leading all four major averages on the day, up 0.5%. The ES faring second, up 0.1, barely green on the day. Likewise with the Dow Jones, it is up or is down 0.12. And the Russell 2000 also a little negative on the day, down 0.11. What's the look on OCTO?
This thing. OCTO. Well, never heard of it before today.
No, well, of course not.
That's one look.
I want to know who knew about this before today.
I know who knew about it.
Well, I would look obviously outside of Tom Lee and Co. and everyone else involved.
Well, it's coming back in real.
But it is actually coming back in a little bit here because this thing has been look, this is what we get at, like, who knew about it before, right? You pull up a day, like, there's no chart that matters except for the intraday chart right now, like your 3-minute, your 5-minute, your 1-minute. But at the end of the day, it was 2.8 million float. Anybody even heard of WorldCoin? I don't think I'd never heard anyone even mention WorldCoin before this morning. Certainly had never heard about it.
I heard Randy mention it.
Oh, Randy was, okay. Yeah. I mean, like, where was this when we were talking about Fartcoin is what I want to know.
I know, Michael.
Look, this has been one of the most impressive, like, squeeze rallies that I've seen, we've seen in quite some time, no question about it. And the fact that it'll do 200 million shares with the bulk of it, even like this afternoon, like the bulk of it's over that initial, like, that 930 halt up, right? Like, it never regained that price. And then when it held into 36, 37, ridiculous. So you're going to do it at most of this volume at an average of over 20 bucks, which is insane because really even that's 1,000% because it was a $1.45 stock. We always talk about the back end of this being nasty, and this morning, like, is usually a couple of days of gains. Sometimes it lasts a little bit longer than that. I think that's what you want to be cautious with as far as the afternoon trade goes. What it's holding on to right now is this halt price at the 55 halt up, which was also where it reversed and halted down. So technically, you got the 55 level here where it halted down, and then you've got this 55 halt up, and it's kind of double barreled at. If you lose that price, who knows where the bid's going to be on this stock? Be real. It probably halts down if it loses this 55 support level, and if it can break this trend, whoops, let me draw it here. If it can break this trend before doing that, then maybe you get another run at those highs. But yeah, impressive rally. It just goes to show sometimes if the right people and voices are behind a hype train, you just want to get on board early, regardless of what you happen to think about it. This was no different from like an IPO trade. It just moved more.
Yeah, so WorldCoin is right here. It's up 70% in 1 week. Nothing like the stock today, but there goes WorldCoin right now. This coin focusing, I just was looking it up there. Identity, and it says here, WorldCoin and cryptocurrency focused on digital identity and authentication, of course, coming from Sam Altman's coin there. They are rebranding to ticker Orbs. So that should be something that we look forward to in the next little while. So that could be, you know, something to look at here. And then, of course, OCTO. I mean, Neil just nailed it there and started talking a little bit about some of the price movement today. Just absolutely wild. We just bounced off the 200 period moving averages. But in 14 years, there's been 0 hacks, 0 excuses. BTCC.com delivers it when others don't. Trade Bitcoin up to 500 times, even Tesla, gold, and Forex. With smart copy trading, you just don't watch the pros, you trade like them. Regulated in the US, Canada, and Europe, trusted by 6.8 million traders. TradingTv.live exclusive for you. Scan the QR code and click the link in the description box for a 15% deposit bonus. BTCC, where the pros trade. Get on board with them today. BTCC.com. So, yeah, I don't know if you can trade WorldCoin over there or not, but WLD is the one you would want to trade if you're looking at OCTO as well. But, okay, another big, huge runner lately has been Open Door. Let's go see what it's doing today.
It's the same story, Katina, man, every time. I mean, it's just retail interest over here. And EMJ Capital founder, as we know, Eric Jackson, he's helped push this stock higher and higher, waiting outside Drake's house with a sign, et cetera, et cetera. This one was a little unusual, though, in the price action. In the pre-market, we were all the way up, and then at 9:45, we actually hit 10% up on the day. But look at that. Since we hit that 732 high, guys, we're down about 16 or so % off those highs as it tries to recover off that $6 area. So more retail interest and erratic price action.
I was just turning this on. We'll get to Open in a quick little second. I'm just saying to myself, we were saying to each other, the next one that they do this in the pre-market, we're going to get in and they're going to ruck it.
That's what I mean. It's like we were talking about getting in earlier. I was like, when it breaks $18, I'm getting into OCTO.
Nah, it should have been when it broke like 5 or something silly. Like if you take the shot early enough in the pre-market, I think it's not that bad. But okay, so the bad news is try to open over 7, and then once it is, typically speaking, like once it loses the pre-market low, the breakout is gone. And Open Door down 7%, but look where it's bouncing. Right off the same place it bounced on Friday. I'm not in it. That's a fail. Like yesterday. Friday, this went right into $6. Pullback, bounced. It wasn't clean off of 6, but the reversal was pretty clean into the prior close. And then it got to the upside. And if you look at where this bounced early in the morning when it tried to bounce, it was actually off the prior close. So one of the most important prices, at least for this stock, and oftentimes, is look at that prior closing price. Because the bid has come in there so many times on this stock, bid comes in at the prior close. Bid comes in at the prior close. It just that's the pattern with Open Door. So when Open Door is failing, then you want to look for that bid coming in at the prior close. I feel like this might have been a case of why would anybody be looking at Open and why would there be buyers on it when the squeeze was elsewhere? It was OCTO today. So Open was doing a lot of volume, but it probably had less participants. And as you said, sometimes it goes up a few days in a row, and this one does these clean pullbacks. Couple days up, pulls back. 3 days up, pull back. This one was only 1 day when it broke 5 originally. It had just put in like 4 days in a row to the upside. Actually more than that, 5 or 6. So maybe due for a pullback, but it does hold that prior day's close, and that $6 level still intact. The shorts aren't out of the water here with Open. They just get to take a little bit of a breather, which you did not get to take a breather if you were a defender in the Bills Ravens game. There was no taking a breath there, but here they got to take a breath.
Yeah, no, I mean, Open Door is up right now 930% over the last 3 months. So, yeah, take a little breather today, down 6%. It was up 74% alone last week. So no point in, crying over spilt milk today, down 7%. I mean, obviously you'd be upset if you were buying some of these highs in here for Open Door. But some of these stocks, as we keep on saying, just need to cool down. And I think that's pretty much what it's doing right now. 24% of the float is still short, fueled by Wall Street bets, fueled by Reddit, swaggy stocks, things like that. Eric Jackson continues to look at this. I mean, talking about it as an investment, but he nailed Carvana, and we see CVNA, and that was sub $10, sub $5, now nearing 400. So, yeah, we'll see if the business still continues to work out for Open Door. Their quarter wasn't great, but that doesn't seem to matter, as now the market just taking this thing higher, 75% last week alone for Open Door, 900% over the last 3 months. I think it continued to work out here for Open Door, but for today, it's slightly closed, and I think you just want to get back into this. We always say look for key levels, but $5, I mean, if you can get something down into there, maybe worth a shot one more time for Open Door. So, hey, man, you know the stock, you know the risk associated with it. It is a risky one. The narrative remains the same. It is a meme stock. Doing 400 million shares today. I mean, it's a scalper's paradise, and I don't know if Coolio's trading this or not, but it's definitely not a gangster's paradise today. This is Open Door right now, down 8% today, but I think it's going to hold out and be okay for the next little while. I mean, 400 million shares just doesn't dry up.
That's a ridiculous amount of volume.
So this will be here for a while. So if you missed it today, you're going to have lots of opportunities on Open Door.
United Health, UNH, was up 2 2/3 percentage point, at least initially there at around 930, but now just up a little over 1%. The shares are popping after the health insurer announced plans to reiterate their adjusted EPS outlook for the full year 2025 in a meeting later this week, I believe, with analysts and investors. If you recall, late in July, they did pull their, issued, I should say, fresh guidance for full year 2025, indicating revenue and adjusted earnings below the street's forecast amid a sharp increase in its medical expenses. So reaffirming that July 2025 guide, guys.
I mean, both of us didn't even realize Coolio had passed. What did he pass off?
Man, he OD'd on fentanyl.
Oh, he OD'd on fentanyl? Oh, Coolio, yeah. So rest in peace to a gangster's heaven right now, I guess.
2 years back, yeah.
Shout out to that one. Yeah, Weird Al Yankovic did one of those as well, but yeah.
He also
too bad, man. I like Coolio.
He
had a couple other songs.
He was the dude that started the icing thing because.
Oh, did he? I think Smirnoff ices?
Yeah, like that.
Really?
Someone iced him at a concert or something like that. The only reason I remember this is because the summer the Smirnoff ice thing was popping off. One of the guys we went to high school with had a bachelor party, unfortunately timed that same you know, like the same moment when it was a big viral, I guess it's not viral, but it was a big deal.
I think it was.
And so we were doing the nonsense icing the entire weekend for the bachelor party, which I probably had the worst. I got the worst of it because it was a beer festival in Montreal, and you're not allowed to bring in any outside drinks, obviously, to the beer fest. So somebody snuck in a Smirnoff Ice, and they snuck it in. And anyways, let's just say they had it in their pants. We had a rule. It's like if you got ice, you had to do it. And so we're sitting there in the middle of beer fest, and this guy goes like this. He's like, he pulls it out. There you go. Now, obviously, he's wearing drawers. Okay. And he iced me, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, I am man of my word. So I'm like, yeah, I'm wiping the bottle off.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was, no, but you have to understand.
No, that's just all sugar.
It was like 25 to 30 degrees out.
Right.
It was chugging sugar in like the heat. And the thing was so warm, I wanted to puke. It was so bad. UNH does not make me want to puke today. It's 1% up.
Yeah.
And look, 1% is not going to seem exciting in a day where we have these runners going up a bajillion percent. But remember what we've been saying. Berkshire likes it at $300. Somebody's buying it at $300. It consolidated there before, it's consolidating there now. And last week, it was almost like a perfect rounded bottom off that 300. The only thing left, and this fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, we can't get fooled again. I'm in it for a second time at the 300 level. This time, if I see it reject again, this 330, which it has yet to test, then I'll probably take something off for like the whatever 5%, 10% that you're able to get. But I think this is the time that UNH is actually going to go. Looks a little bit different. You made a double bottom on the daily. So I think this is the time that UNH has to make a run through that 320 and fill in a larger part of this gap that got put in a few months ago. So yeah, it seems like this consolidation is working out for UNH. All we have to do is break $330, and then I think it's got a lot of juice ahead of it. So we'll see. It was the second time in that swing. I gave you 10% if you took it. I think I got out flat last time. Small win. But this time looks like it's a little bit different.
We're just getting into some Alibaba here as it just broke through 140, so a little bit of a short there, trying to get some out. We're only short, we're here at 10s, so we'll wait for that. Look, Oscar, how about Oscar? Right here, that went up to 20 and change. This is looking like potentially breaking out as well. I mean, if the space is healthy overall, then I think this continues to work as well. So, you know, we just did a thing on Robinhood there, changing the game a little bit. Oscar's an app, so you get into there with some of the health care situations, them directing you towards, you know, the proper care and whatnot. We don't have it here, so I don't know exactly everything about this, but I like the stock. We talked about that. Total addressable market going upside. They've had a nice little run, OSCR. But yeah, for me, you know, buying the diamonds, that was a call that we had earlier on this year, and the DIA, the Dow Jones, you know, with it being such a big component there, UNH. It's nice to see the Dow near all-time highs as well. Nice little recovery there. But yeah, man, to each their own. I don't know. Some people may not, just because of the practices of UNH and some of the policies there. I mean, the business is what it is, but, you know, UNH looks like it's going to work out. And what a great, you know, I don't want to say generational, but that might have been a generational dip buy opportunity there on UNH down into 240s. But to stand in there with a falling knife was tough. I think the best way to do this is to average in. This is where dollar cost averaging in a name that you believe in may work out. Let sort of the, you know, the pain of this trade hit you, and then at some point there's some bounce levels, and it looks like if you draw a line here and you say everything above 300 is legit, everything below is just that like euphoric dump off, you might have capitulation down there and in around 240 after 4 or 5 big moves down, then a couple moves back up. So that's looking like a pretty good bottom to me. I'd say you're long until we break through 290 again downside. This, you may never have to get out of this. So there goes UNH. Congratulations.
Guys, next on the list, TSLA, and Tesla's U.S. Market share for EVs dropping to an almost 8-year low, down from what it used to be over 80% or thereabouts, now below 40% at 38%. That's the lowest it's been since 2017, despite the overall broader market in the month of August growing 14% for EVs. Tesla only grew at about 3.1%, far underperforming the entire sector. In legacy automakers like Hyundai, Kia, Honda, and Toyota, their share in August for EVs growing between 60 to 120% So Tesla feeling that today, down 1 1/3.
Yeah, Tesla not necessarily the bestla today. Ultimately, the market was doing really well in the morning, and we ended up reversing, but the Nasdaq's still up about 0.5%. Tesla at no point did it really get off the schneid today. It just seemed like where it sold off on Friday, it just couldn't chew through. And this was the same thing that we ran into when we were long on Friday morning. Like, it broke out 350 clean, came into this 55 to 56 area, and flush. So Tesla, for lack of a better term, it can't seem to make that extra push. And whether it's the negative headlines that keep coming in here, that could be it. You know, whether it's people with the sales concerns and the Elon Musk package clearly not getting us through that hump to break out 360 at any point. It feels like it's a matter of time, because as we're getting all of these little itty-bitty negative headlines and headwinds, the stock is making higher lows. So it's trying to go. It's trying badly to go. It just keeps on running into resistance after 2 or 3 days. And once again, you get a decent long for 2 or 3 days, and then you wait for it to pull back. So if it's in the pullback form, wait for the 50. Well, this is a 200 period that's going to get there first at 330. I think that's a nice place to defend this week for Tesla, because it's definitely putting in higher lows. There's no question on this daily chart. So I think you want to look for places to buy that dip and then go back to the long. But yeah, once again, Tesla just cannot seem to make that next push.
Yeah, no, shout out to OZEN. So we're going to go right here for you, OZEN. You talked about that. I mean, we were right here when it was happening, and you nailed it. So shout out to you. You talked about Tesla. What kind of a trade would that be, breaking through 350? It held it there. It kind of was dancing a little bit there. You never really had to go against you, and there it is to the downside. So 350. Tesla right now bucking the trend, down 1.18% as the move continues lower, man. I think this looks like a short to me into the close. So I'm short Alibaba. It's the only trade we've got on right now, but this is looking pretty healthy right here for downside. So great call there, OZEN, breaking through 350. Now you have 350 as VWAP, so this is looking like a decent trade, although it's bounced off 345 twice now, so I would alert to that. But I feel like, it feels like you're going to be okay on that short here today, especially if this market somehow just kind of goes sideways right now. I think without any real news, you know, you're still down pretty nice down here for Tesla. So again, I like the short. We talked about it not being really a car company. I mean, they're still a huge car company selling tons of cars, but the margins are going to shrink, and the look remains on AI, full self-drive, and the robotics. So robotaxi, right? So I feel like Tesla is going to win eventually, but you know, the news about the cars doesn't seem to be getting any better. I like the QuantumScape news about the batteries today. I know that's with Volkswagen, but maybe there's something there that can help boost the EV market.
I want to give a big shout out to OGEN, because each year 3.8 million concussions are reported in the US. Yet there's still no FDA approved treatment. NYSE listed Origenics, OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. You know, the NFL season just starting. Yeah. I mean, I saw a few. I mean, like we celebrate those hits. Like there was in the Pittsburgh game, like Ramsey on Wilson, to literally save the game. Like Wilson had the ball, he had the catch, it was completely clean hit, but you see that contact, and you know, it's like
we used to watch those Rock'em Sock'em videos.
Yeah,
you know, all that violence for me is. I mean, yet again, I mean, Joe's over there. Honestly, this is the other thing too is, you know, what's adding to this concussion is this UFC. Like now there's more and more. Imagine going into the ring. We talked about this. The only time you can get carried out of that ring is when you basically can't walk anymore or the time's out, right? So I feel like these concussions are about to get a lot more serious there. And right now they're packing stadiums full to watch people literally pound each other until they can't tap out anymore. So it's Rome all over again, yeah. And right now, you know, and they're doing it on the White House.
But
as well.
It's not just
so, I mean, it's not getting any better here.
Like one of the things I am for concussions is something as simple as like even playing soccer and getting headers. Or just the repetitive aspect of it. A lot of times people look at, especially when football, people look at it, it's like, oh, it's when the guy gets rocked. But that's not really, every single time there's a contact at the line, you know that there's, all you're doing is smashing
Brett Favre now has
Parkinson's,
over and over, right? And that is
again.
being led to all the concussions that he had. So he came out and announced Parkinson's, and that's just sad. Yeah. And it's like all these UFC fighters, I mean, I hope they get paid now and then they retire ASAP, because like I really feel like in a matter of 10 or 15 years, these guys
happened in boxing.
It's already happened.
It already happened in boxing.
No, but boxing, I mean, compared to
but boxing,
UFC
boxing is worse, because in boxing you take more headshots and more trauma because. But
you don't take elbow shots to the head.
Andre, tap me in, brother. Tap me in, Andre.
No, but this is true. The cumulative aspect in boxing is higher because the gloves allow you to make more hits, allow you to absorb more contact.
Katina man. Honestly, shout out to Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em. Grandpa owns so many of those videos. Fantastic stuff. But as for the UFC, the thing is, what happens is in the UFC, if you get hurt, you're going to get finished, right? But to add to Neil's point, with boxing, you get hurt, you get dropped, you have 10 seconds to recover, and then stand up and get beat up even more.
Joe, I've watched lots of UFC, man. These guys get beat up to the point where you can't even see their eyes, and they get back out there. It does not get stopped, dude.
The ref will the dangerous is boxing. The danger's in boxing because you continuously get up and take more blows to the head.
They're both bad, but the experts I've listened to or read anything suggested boxing is
Don Cherry, Rock'em Sock'em, I literally grew up on that stuff, man. It's fantastic stuff. So good stuff, guys.
I can't even, like, now that my daughter's into hockey, it's like, and there's huge hits, like she gets hit all the time, and she's only 11, and it's just like, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine.
I remember when we were kids, I remember dudes running catchers when I was 13 or 14 years old. I mean, like straight up forearm shiver, taking out the catcher and not thrown out of the game. Like the other team trying to, we were at a tournament and we were the Brampton team, so I played for, and the Brampton team a year younger than us. We were in the semifinals playing our own city's team that was a year under us.
Right.
And one of our dudes still blew up their catcher, and I'm like, I remember seeing it happen, and like people wanted to fight, but he wasn't even tossed.
Right.
Like he didn't even get a warning for that. Like that's how it used to be. That's what
now they toss people real.
And you know who it was. I'm not going to say it, but I think you know who I'm talking about.
I know the story here.
That did it. But let's go talk about a little Robinhood. Let's get back on track.
Shout out to Neil. You brought up soccer as one of the sports where there's a lot of concussions. I agree with that and more, Neil, because they don't have a concussion protocol in the same way that the NFL does in the Premier League. You just get hit. You go head-to-head for a ball, and you get whacked in the head. No independent neurologist comes and looks on you in field. No timeout, no nothing. You know, you're just checked out by the team, and off you go back in. So love to see them take that a bit more seriously out on the other side of the ocean. Let's go into the last topic here. Robinhood up markedly 14.5% for the decentralized finance name. So this one will be added to the S&P 500 coming on the morning of Monday, September 22nd. So be on the lookout for that. Just to give you an idea of what kind of metrics we have here, up 211% at the time of this writing of the article year to date, 11.5% month to date. But here is the all-time high. I want to bring your attention to August 11th. That's when we printed $118.45 an intraday all-time high, but we did not close above that level. If we close at these prices, near these prices today, this will be an all-time high close, so be on the lookout for that. Robinhood up 14.5.
Yeah, I guess it is an all-time high close. For some reason,
no, 117.70.
That's the all-time high, but on a closing base. So say again? Anyways, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter.
The signal has it at 117.70.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at up here. But it doesn't really matter. Like the stock was at, what was it in April? $30. like $30 in April.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. It's up
so if you're
100%.
Yeah, like if you're up 3.92x from the lows or 3.91742, well, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You know, at the end of the day, it finally gets added to the index, which is what it's seemingly everybody's been waiting for so long. And what's interesting about it is, if you keep in mind one thing about the S&P 500, like there's certain things you have to do in terms of profitability to get in, but they don't actually have to explain why they pick one company over the other. They just do what they're going to do. So if they want to throw more fintech in the next time something comes up, like don't just assume. Like some people on Friday were like, oh, it's probably not going to be Robinhood because they did IBKR and they did Block. It's like, yeah, and Coin already got in there. So is it going to be Hood? So forget about all that stuff. I could easily still see SoFi. I never believed SoFi would get in before Robinhood, but I think SoFi it's definitely on the short list. As a matter of fact, I had Kalshi up. Kalshi doesn't have SoFi on. They've got Vana, Ares, and Cheniere are up there, and then MicroStrategy's like 5th. So those would be the 3. But yeah, I think SoFi is gonna find its way in the next probably in the next year, because 24-hour trading going in, crypto, tokenization, all of these things play in, and fintech is the place to be.
Yeah, for sure. We like the fintech spot. I mean, I like Charles Schwab, and there's some other plays as well. But I mean, look, the P&L darling today is Robinhood. And I mean, we have the 112 long. We took the break, and then we also brought it back. We called 116.50, by the way, right here. Potential move into 116.50. I mean, it actually got extended through there. And that was pretty much like what's the high of the day? 116.78. This was written at 8 o'clock, where we put down possible from 112 into 116.50. So let's just see if we have it. There's 112. It fell back into pre-market when we had that trade. So we were out of the money about $1, when we got this, and that was a 110.70. And then back up there, and then there's our 116 area out. So yeah, Robinhood, just an absolute gem of a trade. The only thing I was saying when we sort of did our little thing there before Sharif left on the midday there was that I think regulatory risks, right? If they ever change the pay for order flow, or that gets brought to light again and people start to realize, that when you put a buy button, it just doesn't go to the open market, it gets routed away, and Citadel's involved, and what some of the major customers of Robinhood actually are. Probably a lot of the public wouldn't prefer that, but that's a story in the past. So I don't, with democratization, there's a lot of websites now going with free trading. Webull, is another one of those. I don't know exactly all the contents of the trading deals that are out there, but at the end of the day, if Webull's getting this kind of a move up, Robinhood's getting this kind of a move up, SoFi, we just talked about, there's a lot of options out here that are away from traditional finance and brokerage accounts that you may have. You may be trading on JP Morgan or Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Charles Schwab as well, although I do like Charles Schwab. These guys are the largest brokerage around, so if you wanted to go, but you could see what the kind of difference is here as we go back in on Schwab and back to the upside there on Robinhood. So yeah, look, lots of options, and I think that's the best thing about the market right now is you can invest and trade however you want. Yeah. If you're an options person, then I would think that you would have Robinhood on your phone. And if you're more sort of longer term and you're not in and out as much, then there may not be the strong benefits there. But that's why people have different likes of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Different shoes, different whatever.
But this is part of what Robinhood's trying to do is be a little bit of everything for everybody. Mm-hmm. And even when they want you to be able to bet on
the thing is, too, whatever
you want.
The thing about it is like Opendoor, like a lot of these trading revenues are coming from these stocks that are doing 400 to 500 million shares a day, like this OCTO, like Robinhood. So if the environment ever does change, and I actually think trading will slow down with 24-hour trading. I don't think that's rocket science to think that. So I actually do not think that that's necessarily great for them, but we'll see, right now what winds up happening.
It depends on how you define slow down. I feel like it'll be
people
obvious.
People won't be rushing to be trading.
Yeah, the average amount like volume that gets done per hour will naturally go down. But I think then the fact that you'll just be getting more people in a general sense, especially outside of North America, I think that's where the big draw is. Like you're gonna get more people involved in trading the capital market, U.S. capital markets outside of the U.S. I think that'll be a big grower. But here's what we also want to do to grow things around here. Let's see if when we pull up the visualizer and I ask everybody, when you're putting in a symbol, it goes for anybody, a Reza, you have a question about Meta, make sure you hit the $. Just type $, symbol, and we're going to do a little bit of a restart, just to give something else a chance. Because if we don't restart this, then Octo's going to, even when we did restart it just didn't matter. Obviously, it was at the top of the list. So $, whatever symbol you're going to be interested in, just throw them in the chat, and that way we'll know what you guys want to talk about. Certainly, sometimes just find out what is moving. And there was a question in the chat before I asked for this. We were asked to go over SoundHound. So I'll do that. We'll throw that one up. And just keep on throwing those symbols in there, and we'll see what you guys are interested in. But just for SoundHound, there was no particular story that I found, but sometimes you just get squeezes that cause other squeezes that felt like what it could have been here today. And this is on an all-day, I don't want to call it an all-day trend, because like this is like almost it's almost a coincidence. Like the VWAP trend line that it's on right now almost connects with the all-day trend. But that's what I have eyeballs on for SoundHound. This is actually a good-looking chart on the daily as well. Higher highs, higher lows, into what looks like resistance to $17. So I think there could be some continuation here for SoundHound. But for now, at least this afternoon, I'd be careful of this potential trend break. Like if it breaks this trend, usually I think you're heading down into the volume-weighted average price. So that's the look here on SoundHound. I don't even know if we have free locates on it. My guess is no, you'd have to pay for shorts to be able to take that breakdown. The volume's pretty good, 90 million shares. It's crazy, there's a lot of small cappers doing a bunch of volume today, just leading across the board. Like NVIDIA probably.
SNTG is what it
is. Yeah, SNTG opened up and kind of lost the bid there. Remember we said it was indicating an open down? Well, it did open down, tried to break out through $12, and then faded back in hard. And this is sort of what you're concerned about if you're buying any of these afternoon highs when a stock is up 200%, 300%, and looks over 4,350%. You know, it's a different beast trying to buy these up here. And this, obviously, OCTO stands out. There's just no way. OCTO. Like, who could actually, it's one thing to hold along up here. It's another thing to be like, yeah, I went long at $64 on OCTO when it was a $1.40 stock yesterday.
Well, that's part of it, right? I mean, it's like who knows about that Friday, besides other people.
What I would be curious to know, and I'm not involved in any of these pre-market chat boards or whatever these groups that do this, these discords. But I'm kind of curious as to like what was the kind of stuff that was getting said on this morning. Like was there like people were always people talk about these things all the time, I guess, on these little like pump and dump, whatever. Sometimes I guess you should just call it a pump, but sometimes they don't dump. But I'm curious if anyone really actually thought that had this kind of upside. Because I'll see it sometimes, like there'll be a stock, like, oh, I'll look up something on X.
Right.
It's a small cap I don't know anything about. And I type the symbol into X. And I'll see like all of this, I'm trying to find the story, and I'll see all these discords. Look, this stock is going to go 200X or whatever, and it's all the same nonsense. Join my Discord. But I'm curious if anybody actually had a 4,000 number on this silly thing. Now, who actually said it?
Oh, no, I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody could actually.
But they were pumping them. Nobody thought it would do this. But
yeah, no.
Every now and then, I guess it does go. Right?
No,
just goes to show.
You got to.
Every now and
some people. We got that super chat earlier that someone was in at $5, so they can let us know where they heard that, because when we got in today, I was like, well, I just got to take it like 18. We even showed the BMNR chart. And showed how crazy it was. But thankfully, right here, Marvell getting some little love back to the upside there. We went long. Well, we just added to some positions. We have multiple accounts with Marvell in it. But, we added to some Marvell here before earnings. They went whoops all the way to the downside right there. We added on day 2 of Marvell. So we got some 60 I'd have to check the price. I think it was 62, high 62, low $63 mark there. So it's not like it's up a lot here, but up to 66. And Marvell still going higher. Again, really I like the pieces in this game. Like we talked about how NVIDIA is the big chip monster, and I've already pretty full on my NVIDIA position. So, unless it really comes back in, want to leave it a little alone. I was looking for something that might have had a little bit of up to it. The silicone, they pronounced that their data center usage was low, and looking forward, it wasn't the greatest, and that was the same problem that NVIDIA gave to the market on their outlook. So for right now, Marvell only down, up today, but still down from earnings and looking to get back above 70. And like that, around 70 will probably push us to about even. We didn't layer into a big dip buy or anything like that. I mean, there was still lower to go there, but it's nice to see Marvell kicking it today and a nice little move back there to the upside. We often we'll just talk about some of the same names, but different stories here today for sure. We talked about Apple. Well, we didn't talk about it today yet, but tomorrow they have their sort of release of the iPhone 17. We'll see if there's any talk there. I think nervous hands will ultimately prevail a little bit because Apple's had such a huge run that if you look to see what Apple's been doing, a lot of it is going to be in anticipation that they do announce, whoa, that was not good, that they announce some, I don't know what happened there. I mean, I know the market went down, but that's, okay, maybe. All right, so that was a nice, almost like complete V-shape there back. So did I miss a story about Apple there? I must have, obviously. But I just think they're selling ahead of the event anyways. Without me even seeing this happen, what I was getting at, it just turns out to have looked pretty good there, was that I could see some selling, into the event. You run up basically since this is August 20th right there. You really haven't had a red day. I mean, there's going to be a couple little red marks in there, but those were just kind of pullbacks and then just bought the next day. Didn't even cover up the previous day. So boom, right now is your first little bit of a pullback. So I would say for tomorrow, you are at risk of this thing coming back into 225, especially if the Nasdaq opens up down tomorrow and this thing opens up around 232, 233. We've seen pretty violent moves during Meta's Oculus thing, during Gemini and Google. A lot of people didn't love that Gemini Google presentation, and what a great opportunity it would have been to buy Google that day for sure. Any day other than today, I guess. I mean, because Google's going out at highs, right? I don't know. Is it up today? It was down slightly. Okay, so any day sort of other than today, if you had bought Google, you're doing pretty good. So we'll have to wait to see what Apple's story is tomorrow. I still like it for the long term, obviously. I don't plan on selling any of those shares, so we'll see what happens tomorrow with Apple and their event. I believe is 1 p.m.-ish.
Yeah, it's so very different what happens in it from 1 to 3 and how, and then till Wednesday and after the fact, because I think you want to separate those two. Because I'm of the thought that at some point between 1 and 3, you're going to get a nice short opportunity.
Yeah, maybe right away.
Yeah, sometimes it's right away. Sometimes it's like you never really know what thing turns it. Every now and then there'll just be something that gets said, and then that causes the top. And sometimes it happens right away.
We know it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah, we know the price. Yeah, exactly. Like we know the pricing for sure.
Sometimes it goes down.
But yeah, sometimes it's that. We're going to get to a couple of names, and we got a super chat in here. But I wanted to give a big shout out to Globex and attention all Canadian traders here. Because Beta Pro by Globex is bringing back its annual biggest winner simulated ETF trading competition. Now with over 40 grand in cash prizes, including a $20,000 grand prize, all risk-free. It's free to enter and open to all Canadians. Trade with $100,000 in fantasy cash on the Webull platform. Whether you're an experienced trader or just getting started, it's a chance to test strategies, build skills, and climb the leaderboard. So, you think you have what it takes to be the next biggest winner? Sign up today, scan the QR code you see in front of you. Shout out to Beta Pro by Globex. And I do see this craziness. Something is afoot in IBM. It seems Kramer might have said this is a better. Oh, Dara, you have this story.
Yeah, I just messaged you about it. I don't think at all this is what it is.
Oh, no.
But for what it's worth, Jim Cramer did, for whatever reason, compare this to QBTS and say that it was better than QBTS. Oh. That's all I have on this. Really weird. Don't know if that's why.
Okay, well, I'm glad he said it was better than QBTS. Because if comparing IBM to QBTS, I hope is not a comparison anyone really wants to make. But I mean, IBM like Alphabet.
Just say that Donald Trump is talking quantum computing?
No, it was Jim Cramer.
Oh, Jim Cramer. I was like, oh my God, this president knows everything.
No, it would be a different story. No, but like you can't make a direct comparison between IBM and QBT. Like one company makes lots and lots of money, the other company doesn't really make anything in terms of revenue. You know, Kevin O'Leary's watch collection is worth more than QBTS's revenues on the year. No, it's a good way to play quantum. But so is Alphabet, right? Like, and this has been true for quite some time. But it doesn't necessarily give you the same juice as QBTS or QUBT or Rigetti, or I always forget the fourth one. IonQ is the other one. Those usually the four that everyone talks about. Yeah, you're going to get more bang for your buck if those happen to hit, but those are entirely spec plays. I mean, IBM is a company you can play the same thing and get a dividend for doing it. Now, it might be boring, but hey, they are also a pure quantum play as well. And if you look at this has turned the corner since earnings, unquestionably. And sometimes it's like a day or two where you just hold the low, give that nice little consolidation, and then you go. We've seen that in this earnings run, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Apple, Palo Alto. I mean, really half of the CrowdStrike, half of the cybersecurity names. You give it a day or two after earnings, it holds a low, and there's only one place to go. I think we might even be able to say the same thing about Lulu, because that actually held on today. I only know this because someone else brought it up, and I believe it was at some point during the midday. I saw someone like Lulu held the low again, so that's now 2 days. So you've got 2 days post earnings, holding the low and consolidating above said low. Sometimes that's all it takes. You get another day of this with some higher lows, and this could be another bounce off the lows type of play. Adara?
Couple of different things to talk about here. Bill holdings on watch, BILL. As you can see, spiking with volume. Reuters reporting that Starboard, which is previously reported last week to be getting involved in the company, has nominated four directors here to Bill as part of its board. They're looking for a proxy fight here. So BILL getting 4 directors nominated to its board by Starboard. Starboard is trying to push here in an activist way. BILL popping on this. Also, larger market news. I'm seeing some news here. Senate banking panel is apparently set to vote on the Fed nomination of Stephen Miron, who testified last week on September 10th. Now, we know that Donald Trump wants Stephen Miron to be confirmed as part of the Fed by that meeting on September 16th and 17th. Unclear if that's going to happen now, but apparently September 10th is the day we get that vote. Back to you.
All right, thanks. We'll take some votes on that. Just to talk about what you were saying about IBM, though, quickly, same type of thing is that like when you get a chance to buy, whether or not you believe, Jim Cramer is that quantum expert that he may or may not be.
He knows more than Shkreli.
Yeah, exactly.
Got $1 says he does anyway.
It's I don't know. I think he more knows than Martin Shkreli, but IBM was a great buy down there around 240. So at the end of the day, lots of stocks moving around that you can catch some decent values if you can wait around. I think IBM down there near those levels is definitely one of those. So all right, I think it's back to Adair for more news. Oh, is that what I heard?
Had something else come out here. SKYT Skywater. There's been speculation here online that members of the company, I guess bosses at the company, visited the White House. So this speculation is leading to, of course, speculation that there might be a collaboration here or any kind of deal with the White House. SKYT getting a bit of a volume spike again on White House visit speculation. Back to you.
Abos.
I feel like we're just going to wait for something to do the perfect storm, where it's like, you're going to have a company announce at the White House that they're collaborating with Tom Lee and Chamath on a SPAC
on
for
White House coin.
On a White House coin treasury play.
Yes.
And what else can we throw something else in there?
Tariffs. It could be like all countries need to pay their tariffs
in that coin.
In White House coin.
In White House coin.
Yeah,
there
so
you go. And then it's game over.
Yeah.
And then we just all go long, and then everybody wins on the same thing.
Yeah, and it's all on the blockchain, and it's using BMNR technology, whatever the hell that is, as well as OCTO, WorldCoin, and WorldCoin leading the charge.
Of course, WorldCoin doing. You know what?
And some things are so obvious.
What does WorldCoin?
I mean,
whatever.
Soon to be launched TTVL. We talked about that, the Trader TV Live coin. That'd be pretty sick if that was the case. And then we could all see what happens there. A coin that we promised we would never rug.
No, we're not.
I know how to do that, anyways. There was that OCTO coin, of course. I know that you're invested in that, maybe, but wasn't that in and out?
Not anymore. Not
real quick. No. Yeah.
No. And first of all, we're joking around. I've never been in OCTO. No. I did
there was
very.
Kanye West coin.
I put a little bit into. I think messed around in Doge because I opened a Coinbase account when I was investing in the stock. You know, just to, threw some Bitcoin in that bad boy, and I dabbled in some of the other ones.
I mean, why would you invest in Bitcoin when you can invest in WorldCoin?
I have some Doge and I have some. What's the other one?
Pepe?
No, it wasn't Pepe. It was
another dog. Doge and Shiba.
I think I have a small amount of
Shiba
Shiba.
Inu.
But like almost all my, it's Bitcoin and Ethereum and almost all of it. Some Solana as well. But it's, in all seriousness, if you're looking at, I thought I had a better chart of WorldCoin. You know what? Can I go to? I think TradingView might be better. I think that was the one.
Pretty good charts, yeah.
Shoot, now I'm doing it in real time. It's WorldCoin. Is it 2 words or one? Here, I'll just go WorldCoin.
Well, I already have this one, WLD.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, WorldCoin Tether. Like, what's interesting is this is actually starting to go again. I don't know that it necessarily matters, but if you happen to be trading OCTO and are looking at the kind of sideways action that it's doing, you're starting to see like a little bit of a rally back. Let me put up a different time frame chart here. Like if you put a 15-minute chart, we get a better sense of what's going on with this. Like it's actually trying to bounce back, but this found a top not necessarily at the same time that OCTO did. Like OCTO found its high at 12:30, and that was when this was doing not a heck of a lot. Like it was down around here at 12:30. So it's not that they have to follow each other, but I would imagine if WorldCoin breaks out the top, I would suggest that might be a spot for OCTO to go. And if WorldCoin plunges, at least this afternoon, as people are looking for places that they might want to exit, I can see that happening for sure.
Amazon.
AEO.
American Eagle outfit.
American Eagle, Airy Pages. That's one we didn't even see. This is what happens when OCTO goes nuts. We didn't even say a word or look at AEO for the first time in 3 days today. Unfortunately, I guess there's sexier things going on right now in the market.
Good one. 237.70. I was actually just looking right now at Amazon again, talking about retail. So we were actually fine on Amazon until it broke right there. And now I was kind of thinking about this high right there, 236.60 or so. But there is a buyer that's here. I was almost thinking if we break below, but it's, I don't know. Look at the market right now on the Nasdaq. Like, what are we thinking here, everybody in the chat? Like, do we think long or short here into the close? Why don't we put up a poll, Andre? Long or short into the close? So right now the Nasdaq is a 0.46. So I think the question we could basically ask is something pretty simple. Will the Nasdaq finish over or, greater than 0.5 or not? What, is greater than the right word? Finish higher than?
Yeah,
0.5?
That's the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
I guess if you say higher, it's easier for everyone to understand, I suppose, but it's the same.
Yeah. I was just thinking, because I don't want to say, people could be, greater than or higher than 0.5. Because I want to say, like, will the market be lower from here? But then when you read the question, depends when you read it.
Yeah.
So you have to have a number. So I was thinking, will the Nasdaq close over or under 0.5% on the day? I think that's a good question. Will the Nasdaq close 0.5% or higher on the day? Something like that. And then that way we can say from here on. So I'm going to go short once we break this level right there on Nasdaq. I feel like I'm going to answer lower, so I want to go short. Now, why we're short Amazon again, we do have a little bit of a level there. Yeah, but I wonder if I can find a better spot than Amazon. Let me know if there's any shorts in the chat that
NVIDIA's breaking down.
You guys are liking, because we have NVIDIA's breaking down. Okay, so NVIDIA or AMD is fine, because we had written down AMD as a short previously as well. There must have been a Chilean nightmare hair on my desk. Maybe I shouldn't say that. It was about, I don't have a hair that's over a foot long, but here we go right here. Alibaba is the only short, but we also had AMD as a short on here as well. No, there was like a huge long black hair here.
Well, it obviously wasn't mine.
That's what I'm saying. So I was just like, I know he's been everywhere. Like, yeah,
I mean,
it could have fallen from the sky as well.
Because, first of all, I don't have enough to give away.
Yeah.
Before, I think we're going to a dare, but there's a super chat we're supposed to get to. Shout out to Nick Dubs. Appreciate you, Nick. INOD is set up just like app on the weekly time frame, plus following the same move. You're in 2026 and 2027 calls. We'll be doubling your position tomorrow. Mind taking a look. INOD. Obviously, you want to. By the way, I kind of like Palantir at VWAP.
Alibaba, by the way.
I'm looking VWAP on Alibaba. You said Alibaba. Palantir. It's kind of funny how the human brain works. I can be sitting there looking at Palantir, but then I hear you say that. INOD, where do I find? Oh, that is on the Nasdaq. Okay, so we'll take a look for you here, Nick.
Yes.
Well, that's trending a little bit. 10% up. Oh my goodness.
All right, here's the poll.
Yeah, that looks really, really nice last couple of days. But you need to already be in this. Well, I'm assuming you're already in. So like it's been rallying the last few days in here. Clearly a trend break that you're feasting into. And some big time resistance at that 50 to 52, no question about it. But yeah, if you're in it early, then you got a good one there, Nick.
I'm going, so here it is. Yeah, perfect, Andre. I think this is what it is right now. 150 votes in right now. So just me looking, we're only talking about the NASDAQ here. So part of the reason is underneath VWAP, underneath the 50-period moving average for me, I think lower. But not only that, I was just saying about Apple. I think with such a huge event tomorrow for Apple, Apple is in like 650 or something ETFs matched only, I think, now by NVIDIA. So I just wonder that if Apple continues kind of downside right now, and I know it just had that huge move, but like with Apple doing this heading into the event, I'm going to go and vote right now, and I'm going to vote lower. So let me see. Oh, wow. Okay, Neil, you may be the deciding vote. We'll get Neil's vote.
Oh, sorry, I already did.
No, it's okay. Well, what did you vote? High?
I voted lower.
Okay, lower as well. So, okay, so right now, 50-50 on the chat right here, higher versus lower. But Adara has news.
Yes, I do. IBM, we have an actual catalyst here. I just found this out. The CFO is speaking at a Goldman Sachs conference, saying that the company is going to be exiting the first half of the year with over $75 billion worth of, I guess, book worth of business there. That's about 80% of which is going to be consulting. So 80% of their more than $7.5 billion book of business is going to be consulting. CFO also saying that the company currently has over 75 quantum computers in production scaling. We also got the consumer credit number, 16 billion, above estimates of $10.2 billion. Back to you.
So no, Adara sent the earnings out today. There's no earnings at all. There's CASY. What is CASY? CASY. What stock is this in? Oh, Casey's General Stores. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I heard about this. We don't have any of these.
No,
they're
we don't.
Convenience stores.
Yeah.
So Couche-Tard or something like that. So shout out to Casey's right here reporting after hours. I think this stock's been super hot. I have heard of this in the past. Yeah, exactly. Look at this stock here. Since this was 370, didn't even, I mean, that's going to be April. Actually, the April tariffs didn't even really hit this stock. It did. I mean, you get one candle down, but then it was like the very next day, the cat came back and it was goner. But right into here, Casey's General Store. Let me know in the chat, like you guys know about Casey's. I don't know.
Wouldn't you? Because it was a general store, wouldn't they be probably less affected by? I would presume less.
I mean, it depends. I don't know what they sell in there. Like if they're selling little trinkets and stuff.
I'm just guessing. I don't know either. I'm guessing.
China.
Sounds like that would be true.
But apparently they have a great breakfast pizza. I don't know. You guys let me know there. Some Rivian millionaire, he loves Casey's. Maybe there it is.
Oh,
Casey Pizza went downhill. Oh no, this is just what I remember. Oh, they sell pizza. Oh, they make pizzas.
Casey's.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought it was a general store. This is what I don't even know. So we know that Papa John's,
I gotta look this
PZZA, was a good name there. They get bought out, weren't they, Papa John's? So yeah, maybe Casey's will have. Yeah, I believe Papa John's has a buyout, or there was some sort of a rumor about PZZA there. So is that what Casey's is anyways? Oh, they sell gas? Wait a minute, they sell gas and pizzas? Breakfast pizza with pineapples? What is going on here? I think
whoa, that's
I'm going to find out. I'm going to go.
That's a foul.
Hold on a second here. Casey's U.S. store. I'm just going to Google it and see what it's saying here. Oh, yeah, Casey's Pizza. Oh, here it is. I was right and wrong at the same time, which is, hey, what's up to my wife? Here it is. It says right here, Casey's Pizza, food and grocery. Okay, Neil, so we might be in a little bit of something here with Casey's. Oh, look at this. Waffle, bacon,
oh my
sausage,
God.
egg. Save $7 when you buy any 2 large pizzas. Ooh, $8 off. Okay, so yeah, so it does look like this. They're selling the primes right now. Shout out to Jake Paul. Shout out to Celsius. Shout out to Jake Paul. And Gatorade. Shout out to Coca-Cola. So yeah, it looks like maybe are they like a 7-Eleven almost, it seems like. We have 7-Eleven sells gas around here as well.
Yeah, it sounds like the same thing. Similar at least.
Anyways, people's now saying their pizza is good, so I don't know.
Well,
but I thought they had a good breakfast pizza from what I was remembering.
I looked it up. I don't know if I would eat it, but it looks okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks okay.
Cool. Adara, with maybe more news on IBM. I don't know.
Oh, okay. What?
Nothing with Adara.
Or not.
She already gave us the IBM news again as well. So, all right. So the Nasdaq. Now that we've set this vote right there, make sure you guys do get into the chat right now. You have to be a subscriber. First of all, hit the like, hit the subscribe. But if you are in the chat right now, vote, man. Here it is, right here. Wow, we gotta. I mean. All right, like now it's 54% lower. We almost have to stop this vote because if the market tanks right now, then all right, you know what? Let's just keep it up. It doesn't matter. We made that when it was 0.5, so we'll wait to see what's happening now. If you went lower because of where we are now, that's going to be wrong. You actually have to think about it. So we'll wait to see what happens because one quick move in the Nasdaq wipes out, everything for right now. Yeah. So we'll wait. All right, 0.5 or higher, 50-50 right now with a slight edge to lower. So I'm short. We finally started to get a little bit of a pullback there. This is still Papa John's. Domino's, another good one as well. But yeah, Alibaba, honestly, man, these Chinese ADRs right here, talk about 24-hour trading. Most of them won't trade extensively at all heading into closes and whatnot. So yeah, I just realized that we have basically got no movement in Alibaba for about 3 hours now, honestly. This is 12 o'clock. Same level since 12 o'clock. We went up and down 50 cents. So if we do touch out near O's again, we will take a piece out. And then we are also getting out of this name if it breaks that top. So like we're moments away from getting out of it. So this may not be the trade of all trades here. So we're going to have to wait to see what winds up happening with Alibaba. But
they got a brisket pizza too.
Okay, now, I mean, Neil talking about brisket pizzas. Like,
no, someone just put in the chat they got a brisket pizza.
Oh, someone in the chat?
I got a good...
Best American gas.
Is CASY's everywhere? Like...
No, I think they're
like where?
No, I don't think so. It's like
where are they? Because I don't feel like I've ever seen one.
Nor have I.
But like most of my time in the States is
that's what I'm saying.
Generally speaking, like Florida, New York State, and I've been down to Texas a few times, and then a little bit Chicago, Cincinnati. Like where exactly is it? Iowa, Illinois, Missouri. I've been in. I wasn't in Iowa long enough, I guess. That's crazy. All right,
well, that's
shout out to that.
So anyways, they're reporting tonight.
They report tonight, but I think the bigger story is going to be where is OCTO? Because I have a feeling, look, in the aftermarket, you can't halt, and OCTO could do some wild nonsense in the aftermarket tonight. And we'll keep track of it, no questions asked. Obviously, no one's going to be trading this thing. Maybe some people will try to take advantage of liquidity that might still be there in OCTO. But for now, it was grinding higher and just had this candle. Like it just pulled back, had a $10 pullback candle here. Not the first one. It's got, on a 3-minute chart, there's at least, I don't know, like a dozen 10% candles today. Probably more than that. I suppose I could count a little, easily a dozen 10% candles on a 3-minute chart. But it just put one in, so it's losing a little bit of steam here and heading back into the downside. The name I might not be able to get Palantir at VWAP. This is actually starting to roll over. Like just before we came back on air, it was at a VWAP short that broke out and got out of it. This is now starting to accelerate, so I might have to move a little bit further down to try to catch the next available pop here in Palantir. And this is nothing. I mean, Palantir's up 2% today. It's underneath.
Ooh, I like that.
It's underneath VWAP, and it's now all of a sudden, as opposed to what was going on the last couple of weeks where it was always closing above the 50 period, it's now closed twice below the 50 period on the daily. And that sits at 156, almost 157, like 156.80 or so. So the losing VWAP is also losing that 50 period on the daily and would go for its third consecutive close underneath that. So I'm going to bet the under because it just seems like that's the pattern right now on Palantir. I'm going to short the next available pop in that bad boy. Melvin Tejada just put in Uber. I didn't see Uber on our visualizer. It's still We restarted it, but OCTO is still winning. It's the same names, and then just throw in IBM. Like if I look at it, this morning it was OCTO, HOOD, Tesla, NVIDIA, all the regulars. The only difference is IBM is in here after that move that we saw in HIMS. HIMS actually on the list of interest. I didn't realize that was doing anything today. Sort of the stuff that was going, that you were looking at last week, some of it went to the wayside. Yeah, HIMS, nice double top. Wow. That is a clean double top on HIMS. It's very clean, and it failed that 50 period again. HIMS seems like it's close. Like it's close to making another one of those bigger runs. Just needs maybe to push through that $50 level, which obviously it didn't do today. Yeah, unfortunately, as we said, sometimes the squeeze play needs to be the center of attention. And if it's not, then the follow through is just not there.
All right, Tesla. I was thinking about Tesla here because Tesla right now, their lowest U.S. Market share pretty much ever. There we go. Alibaba just blew through. It used to be 80% blown through. Whatever, man. Alibaba. I just shouldn't have sat in there for that long. Be able to get some out, get some flat. It's a relatively flat trade. I'm still looking for that Amazon, but it looks like Amazon, although the market's pushing. Hey, what happened to my Amazon trade? Oh, I didn't get it. 236.40 I tried to get short. Oh, okay, my order's still pending there. Oh, it broke that seller, and I guess I didn't get filled. So, okay, now the market's coming back down to me. We made that call. That's why we put that sort of chat in there. So I do want to go short. Just a little bit, not the right price. We'll wait up there near 40 to see if we can get something a little more significant. But we'll try the Amazon short there. You know, would have been better up here. We had looked at it there. Fabian. We didn't quite get the price that we had thought there for Amazon, and it just went pending. We didn't get the fills. So we'll see if we can get a downside play here for Amazon, and so far, so good, but we'll wait. So if we can get back up to here, a break of this level, I think we want to get out of AMZN. So we'll wait for it, but there's the market. It was at 0.5, so there's a little bit of a thing. I should have taken the TQQs, but I didn't believe in that enough, but we did take it on Amazon. So there's a nice downside push here for AMZN. Of course, we get stopped out of Alibaba, which probably isn't doing anything as the market does this. So we'll say that was a good idea going short, but we have to wait now to get printed on something for that. So there it goes. Nice move down in the market. We'll see if Amazon can follow through with that. OCTO, still 175 million shares, not doing too much. You're looking for it to break through there. If I had paid for shorts, maybe we'll have to go check out how much they are. I think this is worth the short rate there for OCTO. That's $55 break. So I'm going to go in, and I'll let you guys know how much it is for shorts.
It had come down significantly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pay for it. But here it is right now, man. It's 20 cents in the money. So there goes Amazon. Yeah. Happy, joy. Shout out to Ren and damn Stimpy right now, because there it goes right there. A nice little win for your boy there. We just put this on. There's 25 cents. So, okay. I thought we could have been shorter earlier, and we talked about that, but there's a nice move down for AMZN. So at least we talked about the market going shorter there. So, yeah, sure, we'll talk about Casey's Pizza and all that, but I've always got an eye on the market and trying to make a few plays there. So there's Amazon. We'll take out a quarter of it. That's it, at O's. So we'll take out a quarter. We'll see if we get something else. I mean, this level held a couple times. That's 80s. So let's put another bid there. I have one in the 90s. Let's put something in the 80s as well for like a quarter piece as well. And then we'll get off of that. So, and then we're going to go find out the pay for shorts.
Yeah, I think it was $12. It was $55 at the maximum. It peaked at $55, and then there was a moment when it was like $12 when I had checked in the middle of the day. Or we'll see. I mean, you're going to check it right now, so you'll be able to find out. SNTG, which is the other small cap runner, that just caught a bit of a decent bid here at $8. Right in that morning, right into the morning highs, or call it like the early afternoon highs, so that's actually 1 o'clock, and bouncing clean off of that prior high. But it is running into trouble at $9. Seems like there's a big seller at the 9 to 9.5 that just showed up there again on SNTG. So if you happen to be trading that one, certainly some acceleration going on in that bad boy. Palantir seems like it's too far gone. But I'm going to go over to, because NVIDIA is doing this. Here, I'll show you NVIDIA. NVIDIA is breaking through support at 169 at the same moment where you're getting a bit of a curl on AMD. Right in here, this just actually broke a little bit of an uptrend. Broke 150.5, going to 151.5, and now you're breaking the trend back into the downside. So this gives some cover to be able to get into this prior high at 151.5 on AMD. After I saw NVIDIA break down. Ooh, some of the old stuff that was at the desk, which we forgot about, is getting put back. I haven't seen our Vegemite return to our desk, though. Seems to be missing in action. It's around here somewhere. Probably in the trash is where it should be. No, we do not need the Vegemite. It's okay.
We just covered some more Amazon down there at 236. So far so good. Maybe the market does bounce back a little bit. So we'll cover a little bit more now out of 40%. We just got back-to-back covers there at 236. So one was 01, one is 02 or something like that. So good cover there. And you can see all of our trading, not only on the board, like AMD and Intel are both short for Neil's account right now, and I'm short on Amazon. So again, thanks for everything. And we just paid $12 for OCTO to get short. So now it's $12 per 100 shares, and here it comes in there. We just talked about going short. It was at 60. Now it's at 56, 57. So coming in here, OCTO. Let's see what winds up happening on this break. I'm going to try to get this short if it breaks 55. So that's going to be a play for me here, breaking the afternoon range back down for OCTO. So, and if it goes against me and we get punched in there and it goes against, we're not trading a huge amount of shares or anything, but we are trading something. So breaking through 55, maybe we'll give it back up. $5 probably okay, up back above through 60, something like that, to see if we can get a break down for OCTO. Play the 55 break, give it to 60. But look at the spread. I may not even get short on this thing. I think I'm only crossing 40 or 50 cents. So we'll wait on here right now. It's going to be tough to short it for sure. Like you're almost better off sitting somewhere here and then not paying the spread, although because right now the spread is reasonable. When this thing starts to open up and you're trying to punch in and out of it, it's going to be real difficult to trade. So I completely understand that. So we're going to wait to see if it does give us that break right there of OCTO. Hopefully we're able to get it. All right, so still waiting for Amazon. Obviously, if that one comes through, then we'll take that. So we're just going to wait around and see what's available to us here in the waning minutes of the day. It's 3:18. Only Casey's General Store, which apparently has great pizza and gas, they are tonight. So other than that, nobody. And Oracle later on this week.
Oh, that's the big
one. IBM's still going right now. So it's all good.
Yeah, and just very quickly, there was a good question I tried to answer. Is T was up, yo?
What's up, yo?
What does it mean to cover? So if you ever hear us use lingo that doesn't make any sense to you, just always ask. There's no harm in asking the question. Covering just means taking out a portion of a position, or all of it. You could cover your complete position, you could cover a portion of it. So if you're long, it just means selling some, and if you're short, that just means buying some back, right? So if we get to VWAP at 151 on AMD, I will cover some of the short by getting out on the bid. So that's, and if we say, rip and tank are obvious ones. If you hear me say fade, usually that means short. At least that's the way I look at it, not just a fade that I actually I probably need to touch up, get a fade this week, I think. Visit my barber actually would make some sense. But no, a fade usually means short. But yeah, just don't hesitate to ask any questions. There's no bad questions like that. But Eric, it doesn't necessarily mean close the position. You can cover some of a position. Closing is a different story. Yeah. Closing a position means you're getting out of all of it.
Right.
Or sometimes I'll say flat. Like if I'm getting flat, then that means getting out of position. Which is weird because sometimes it could just also mean getting out at the same price you got in. You didn't make or lose. But the trading terminology kind of goes both ways. Okay, let's go to Adair. I just heard we're going to have some breaking news, but I think I might have. Well, I don't want to. I think it might be on Amazon here.
I'm short Amazon, so. All right, what's up?
MELI dropping here. MELI, Mercado Libre dropping. Seeing a report here that Amazon is buying a stake in a Latin American delivery startup called Rappi. MELI to the downside. Back to you.
Yeah, Darwin wrote down Amazon buys a stake, but we have MELI buying a stake.
MELI, yeah.
Amazon. And, if we're still, like, the reason why I knew it, well, not that I knew it wasn't Amazon, I don't know, it could be something to do with Amazon, but not really moving around. We took no more covers here. So we are back into a cover spot. If you did one, it's 20 cents in the money. I'm short this, Neil's short Intel and AMD, and I called, whoever voted for short called for it as well. The market heading to the downside. So we'll see if it can give it up right now. The market just at like a give up level, right? So this is the low of the afternoon. So we'll see basically the low of the open day, actually, right there. We sort of just started going all morning. We were up 0.8 at one point. I don't know if we got across 1% or not, but there's the pullback in for the Nasdaq, looking to basically go, it's not going to go red on the day, but of the intraday movement, we could go red. So we opened up right here, and that's basically underneath where we are. So we are actually red on the open market so far today, but barely. So we'll see if it can hold that or not. But right now, not the greatest look for the Nasdaq, as it's looking a little lower. We could have just held that level. We just bounced off of it in the last 10 minutes. We've been holding this level very, very strong. So I could see, again, this potentially being something like a bottom. So let's get maybe a little bit more of a cover here. We are getting very, very close to going short on OCTO right now. So watch out now. This is going to break through 55. What did I say? 55 break, right? So we're almost there right now. So yeah, we'd like to see just a couple more pennies lower, and we'll be into this name. So right now it's OCTO, and we'll see if it's going any lower or not.
55,
but,
you said?
I hope so. That's going to be the low of the afternoon here, 55. Or so break. So here we come, coming in for OCTO. We're going to look at that. And Amazon, with the market trying to figure itself out, I still like this Amazon trade. I'm going to put out another bid here at 05. There we go. We get picked up immediately. So we'll take some out at 05 for 20 cents. We're also bidding 94s. I don't know why that is, but I'm going to keep it there. 94, then 83s. And the reason why we're bidding 83s is that's one of our best outs right there so far on this move down. So hopefully we're getting a movement down there. And here comes OCTO, man, $1 away from the first trade. I know Sharif made a couple trades, I believe, but my first trade here today, there it goes. We did not get any shares short. So unfortunately, I only crossed down to
by $1.
Yeah, 54.50. I went to there, so I only crossed down 50 cents. Did not get it, and there's the break right there. I'm going to cancel it, and we can now relook at it. But there it goes, man. It was a good idea, but you know, with liquidity, see like how now liquidity's fine now, but you know, once it opens up, then it really starts to get going. So we called that short break. Was a try. My order went pending. I'm sorry, got accepted, went into the market, but I missed the swipe down. So we ain't missing on this one though. Glorilla, right there, there it is, man. It's Amazon now. What you know about this trade, as it's trying to go to the downside right now for AMZN. So we just get a little bit of a fill. We missed that 94 fill because it goes to 95. So hopefully we can have a little bit of a move down right now. We'll see what's going on there. But oh boy, what a move down there for OCTO. I mean, we'll do the old Barry Horowitz, tap ourselves on the shoulder for this flush, but we don't have it. We missed the trade. There it goes to the downside. I'm glad we talked about it. I'm glad it was there. And there's the move down for OCTO. So yeah, those 100 shares would have been okay, but at the end of the day, we missed the punch, and there it goes. Yeah, good trade there. I hope some of you, at least if you were on OCTO, you got out around that level. Bang, that's it again, man. There it is.
Oh my God.
So, you know, we tried it. At least we made the call, man. So you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. We took a shot, and at the end of the day, we're proud of the analysis. We're proud of where it went from here for some people that hopefully got short, but you know, we don't have it on, but there it goes. So there it goes, man. Nice call there as we got back to our trading roots and made some good ones there. But congratulations, everybody trading this name today. I know there's a lot of money been made.
Yeah, a lot of people have made a lot of money trading that stock in both directions. Although, let's be real. One of the advantages of real trading, I've seen a ton of people complain, there's no locates on this. I can't short that here or there. Look, in real trading, we have the ability oftentimes when a stock is not easy to borrow to be able to get locates on it. Sometimes you have to pay for them. All you have to do is put the request in and we get quoted a price. And if you find your broker is not giving you what you need, then you can always look for something else, because I can tell you stocks like that, you generally are able to. There might be a price associated with it, but generally speaking, you are able to short them. IPO, we get the same question on IPOs, like why can we short on an IPO on day one? Well, because at our broker, we're given a price that we're usually able to do so for a few pennies per share. So depending on the IPO, sometimes a little bit more than that, but that's an important thing. Eugenius, that's the name of the chat, 101, asking if Open Door is SSR. Well, it's got to be down 10%.
Right.
So the answer would be no. So if SSR means short sell restricted. So the uptick rule comes into effect if a stock goes down 10% from the previous close, and then it'll be uptick rule in effect the next day as well. Open Door is not SSR, to my knowledge. Like, what's the low? $6? It would look maybe it did tick. It's really, really close. Because I think it would have had to have 665. It would need to drop 67 cents from that. That's 598. But it looks to me like it bounced at that price. So I would say no, but it's to the penny that low came in. So we'll see. But it looks like it was really, really close, but didn't quite break that 10% barrier. At least I never saw it at the 10% barrier.
Can we just go short? I mean, there's a chaser right here on open. Oh, he's gone. Okay. Whew. There's a 3,000 there. They're just trying to influence it. Someone just put like
a spoofer?
Yeah. So watch to see if we can see it again.
Oh, let's see.
There was just 300,000 shares there on the offer. I was trying to go short and then I pulled it. So we'll wait. I think when it says E on here, I think that means that it is extended. So I think it is. It did go SSR.
I know the C is for
my temporary guess. And I just saw a huge. There it is. See, there's a Nasdaq there.
Yeah.
So there's somebody sitting there with 320,000 shares.
But that could be somebody that's trying to also hit the bid and it's posting to the offer.
Right. So we don't know. But if you're, and it's not that that's that many shares. I mean, it is as far as an account is concerned, but 440 million shares on the day kind of makes that look a little small, but still just under 1% of the day's volume. No, 4 million would be 1%. Yeah, so even under that, here it goes downside. Let's see if it follows it down. So you're looking for this 3,000 to come up here right now. So it was the Nasdaq. So let's see if this goes. See, now they're building it higher and higher and higher. So actually, you know what? I'll just try with 100 shares. Let me see if it's SSR right now. I'll try my damn self. Yes, can't go short. So I punched 16, I cannot go. So right now it is SSR. So I just tried there to hit that with 100 shares at 16. I cannot go short at 16 right now. So meaning it needs an uptick. So you need to be sitting here or anywhere else to get short. You need to be on the ask. You need to be offering stock in order to get short. So yes, confirmed right there that you need to be short off the offer. So this is SSR. So it must have hit, man. It must have hit. So great question there. Someone that asked us. There it is again. There's some more size pushing this thing down. I'm wondering now about Open Door. Maybe we should just get short with it and then wait till it goes back up to some of these levels, 620 or so, before we get out. Because there definitely is a chaser right here, bringing it back down in. So we'll wait. But that's the trade right now for Open Door. I like it. Potential, people in the chat there, maybe there's a secondary coming. That could happen at any time.
Well, I
guarantee you there's one coming for OCTO. So.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say that's specific to... Like if you're guessing when they're going to do an offering, it's so hard to predict, except for the fact that it happens. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of the when for a stock like Open. That said, for something like OCTO, it's like if you're doing a treasury play and you get price action like this and you don't do an offering at some point, what are you doing? Like if they didn't do an offering, then you can't just file instantly whenever you want. That's not how it works. You get paperwork, blah, 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 and then X amount of time after. But my guess is you're going to see an OCTO. Of course they're going to issue. There's going to be offerings on that. Multiple ones probably in the coming weeks and months. So basically, I don't want to call it a flat trade because we just went over that, but it is a flat trade. I got flat and a flat trade on AMD. Was able to get profit when it pushed down into VWAP a little bit, but then it broke out and lost a few cents on it. So overall, that'll be a flat trade. It was actually a better long off of this trend break earlier that ends up being short. The market doesn't really seem to want to follow through. Like we just tagged the afternoon low and a little bit of a bounce. So just like a teeny weeny bounce there for the Nasdaq as it's trying to slowly grind to the downside. It is 330, so we'll get a quick early look at some of the imbalances. I didn't really see anything that stuck out. I am still in this Intel that's not going anywhere. It was a trend break trade, and then it's now resisting 24.5. So I had moved my stop from here to just above 24.5. And sometimes if you're going to move the stop and it's at a resistance spot, I'll just reload in front of the resistance and then put the stop there. And that would end up being a break-even stop. So break-even stop on Intel, and 330 just hit. Whatever MIR is, it's 5 million to the buy side. CNH, 2.6 million to the buy side. VICI, that was that new ETF. Was it not?
Was it VICI?
No, it wasn't. No, it was something different.
I remember that name from.
No, it was a different ticker. Brendan was talking about it this morning. It's a different ticker though.
CI.
KO 1 million to the sell side. So really just MIR, which I'm not familiar with. What is this? MedMira? No, that's not right. That's Mirion Technologies. That has done 7 million shares and has a 5.5 million imbalance. Well, that would be rather significant. So I'm going to throw this up on a side chart. Also, I'm going to double check to see if there's supposed to be an action on it today.
So right now, yeah, I mean, I do see what you're talking about here. Here's the open door 5-minute candle. You talked about this bottoming wick right there, typical bottoming wick for short squeezing and potentially, you know, the shorts getting run dry a little bit there. I do not disagree. We do have the same candle right here, similarly at 12:50, so an hour before, and that did spark a move up, and that did spark a move up right there. But, you know, I would agree with you. I just wonder if we've run its course a little bit, waiting to see if we do have, and again, the 5 minutes is a good idea to look here because it does give you a little bit of a clearer idea rather than a 1 minute. Is just, you're not going to see a lot of these wicks on 1 minute charts, but I could sort of say the same thing there. Maybe the bulls tried to run this up to 627 there and it failed, and now you're pushing back in. But I'm not, I just put a stop in. I'm just trying something. Like if we break 625, which is the, oh, that's 627. I should have to change my stop order actually right here for open door. So I'm going to get a little bit more as we get closer to that, but it's going to be 6. Let's go to 631 if we break above right there for open and give this one a little bit of room into the close, because here it goes, right? I mean, it is going higher. So we'll play off that 624 level, see if we can get something into there, and then we'll play it. So we'll see what happens here with open door. There could be, again, I don't like all the volume. I mean, now it's starting to pick up. And we're short now at 1350. I am waiting. We almost got filled there. I'm waiting at 24s. So that was sort of always the plan, was to bring it. That's why I just changed my stop there. I don't know why I put it at 25. That's 25 right here. So this is kind of what we want, and we want to see if we break above 30s, which is that 50 period moving average. So we're going to have to get above there. Sorry, the 200 period moving average before we get scared away. So right now, oh, that's too bad. We just missed it there at 24. I went to 23. That would have been nice to have grabbed that there now as well. As it gets a little spookier in here right now as we've lost all the lights. So
it's a little dark in here.
Shout out to Fabian doing his best over there, but right now we are blinded by the light, lack of light, I should say, right now. So,
ooh, I like.
All right, we'll get a little bit more at 20 because maybe that
shout
was
out to
the top.
Weekend.
That's correct, Neil. Blinding Lights, yeah, one of the most streamed songs on Apple and Spotify over the last 5 years. Blinding Lights.
And I'm sure at YouTube Music as well, which I'm now the only thing I use. I'm going to get into this. So I looked up this MIR. And Mirion Technology, I think it's actually like Mirion Technologies. It's a 5.5 million buy, but it is being added to the S&P 600 tonight. So S&P 600 edition, probably double check to make sure it's not coming. Yeah, so S&P 600 edition, the expected size, not gigantic, 26 million shares to trade, which is notionally,
Amazon, what are you
I don't know,
doing?
like 600 million. So not even like a billion shares. So it's decent size, but the expected buy is bigger than this 5 million. So ideally, you want to see this thing grow from 5.5 million to a larger imbalance in this in the next 15 minutes. And when the imbalances come out, then we'll play it by ear there. But MIR, Mirion Technology, it's going to be annoying because when I type it in, there's like some Toronto stock that comes up first, MIR. But anyways, it's off the lows as well, so kind of getting it off the lows. If it makes a fresh low at any point before the imbalances come out, I would just punch out. I'd still treat these the same way. Like if you're in it after the imbalance comes in, then you got the imbalance going with it. But if I'm in it before, then I'm going to get out if it breaks the low of the day.
When is Klarna coming? Thursday or?
I thought it might be Wednesday.
Which day?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay. All right. So get ready for some Klarna action. We'll take out a little bit right here. A little loud. We'll take out a little bit of Amazon there. We just got some 13s, I think it was, or something. So nice move down. Oh, sorry, right there. 14s or 15s right here on the 200 period moving average. We're going to wait to see what's going down with Amazon right now. I don't know. I'm thinking about just stopping out. We already have a stop out up here. It's probably too far. Let's stop ourselves out if we break 40s. We've already made money on this reload. I'm not going to wait around to hit this any sort of a lower trigger there. We have our open door trade. So 236.41 stop out there for Amazon on small shares. I mean, we've been getting out. So just there's the reload, or there's the new position at 27s. Outs, our best out is 93, so that's 30 or 40 cents. So right now, to stop out for a 15-cent hit minus slippage, I'll take it. We just got another out there as well. So far, so good on this Amazon reload. Look, man, I mean, I wish it goes into the money for us, but maybe not. Open door right now, trying to come back in just a little bit. Let's see if it wants to do that. We're short now at 20s. On this, and this is kind of what we had sort of thought about getting. So now I'm noticing, though, I do want to get something out in and around maybe 15s. That's where the 50 period moving average is actually at 16. So I'll put a little bit of a bid now at 16s, maybe 10% out at 16, then like 25% or so at 15. That was my initial idea. Then if we break lower, then we can see what happens here at that 12 spot, and we'll deal with it at that point. So right now, a nice little push back for open. We got that 24 area that we wanted, so we actually get that fill. So now we'll see what winds up happening again. It looks like patience paying here on open doors. So only 24 minutes left until the bell. We only have CASY's coming through right here. NVIDIA, something about Goldman Sachs conference. So, received H20 licenses for several key customers in China right now. Let's go over to Adaro, I think has this story.
Yeah, that was the story. Goldman Sachs here at this conference, I guess there's an NVIDIA's executive there saying that the company has secured some H20 licenses for several key China customers. That is the story here again. NVIDIA executive at this Goldman Sachs conference saying that the company has secured H20 licenses for key China customers. Back to you.
Yeah, I don't see any way that's a negative.
Yeah, exactly. So.
That's obviously, Jensen talked specifically about how much cash is on the table and the amount of growth that's there in China for these chips. So that seems like it's a really good piece of news for NVIDIA. You'd think the volume would be a little bit better on this. It's not even doing more volume than the previous candle. That's kind of a little bit lame. So I'd say a little bit disappointing here on this NVIDIA story. Certainly you'd want a little bit more in terms of specifics, because select, it's like who, how many? How much money are you actually going to get out of this? Is it going to be that $4.5 billion that you wrote down that you talked about in the last call, or is this going to be like chump change compared to it? So yeah, not the kind of volume I would have expected on that. And just to clarify, someone asked what the plan is on MIR. I think I said if it breaks the low of the day, if I didn't, apologies. If it breaks the low of the day, I'm out. The imbalances, just because a stock has a buy imbalance doesn't mean it has to go up. It also doesn't mean that at 350, when the imbalances go live, this is an early look. When the imbalances go live at 350, this could be like 2 million shares, or it could be 20 million shares. So if I'm in when I see it pop up and it's a buy, I'm still going to get out if it breaks the low of the day. There's always going to be structure to the trade. What I will do, however, is if it's a bigger buy after 350, then I'll add to the position. And just looking for a pop. If it pops into VWAP, great. If it goes further than that, fantastic. But I'm not going to add to this until the imbalances actually drop in about 10 minutes or so. So being added to the 600, it's just like when whatever day Robinhood's 2 weeks from now, I think. 2 weeks today, I believe, Robinhood's going to go into the index. Everyone's going to hope that it's a gigantic buy imbalance. And if it isn't, so be it. If it is, a lot of people are probably going to go long. MIR is nowhere near as big, but it's a decent enough size relative to the actual volume that it's done today. 5.5 million buy imbalances, 5.4 million buy imbalance into 7.9 million shares traded on the entire day. Even the paired volume is getting rather large as well. That's worth keeping an eye on. That just means that they're actually finding matches. If I see that total paired number get to the expected 26 million, there might not be anything left over for it to go up.
All right. I wanted to go over here and show you guys who's making all the money at Real Trading. So did I just get out of something? No. So our Amazon, we got some more Amazon fills a little bit lower right here. Okay, so these are the top 10 trader P&Ls from Friday. Not today. I have no idea who's making money today, where, or what. But right here, 15,430, and I just want to say these are the top 10 traders company-wide. There's about 2,000 to 3,000 traders trading here at Real Trading on prop floor, so it's prop money. These are the markets they traded, and this is all US dollars. So even though you're going to see someone traded the Canadian market, the TSX, although I think it's TMX, that was $6,800 US, so 6,800 US there. And then, yeah, not very global at all, as it all stays in North America from Friday, but 15 down to 3. So not a crazy day or anything like that there. We'll see, like we said, when Klarna comes and when there's a few other. Okay, here we go. Money. All right, we're finally in it right now. We get that 16 fill now on Open Door. So here we go again, man. Open Door, I guess, will go right back upside again for us on a P&L side of things here. It just needs to hold. Hopefully it goes lower. I have a much bigger fill waiting at 15, so it's need to clear it through. We're sitting on ARCA, so hopefully we get that fill there at 15. Take it on ARCA. We're short at, you know what, now that we're short at 21s, all right, I'll put a bit, there we go. I'm going to cancel, there, I just got instantly filled at 16. I must have crossed into somebody, so that's fine. So we'll get out there. I do not have a 15 now. So we're short at 21s, 22s. So good trading so far on Open Door. We put the majority of our position on up here, which is why we have that average price. And there it comes, breaking through 15. Let's go, man. Here we go. This could be a big one, Neil, man. Here we go on Open Door. Let's go right now. Good size position here. Let's see if we get a downside push with only 8 minutes left. Thank you. Appreciate that, Joe, over there, because this guy's grinding as well. So shout out to Joe over there sitting down and getting his trading right. So here we go, man. Open Door. Hopefully we get a nice downside play. No point in not getting some out at 13 or 14. That's been the bottom there. So hopefully we're right. It comes down there, and then hopefully we're right and it breaks through. So we'll put a bid at 14 and then wait for it. But here we go, man. Looks like it's going to be a good one. I do have an 06 bid as well. So far, so good here for Open Door as, yeah, we're running the gauntlet here with it. Hopefully it comes up and then back down, and the down continues as we did see that chaser. Give it to me at 14. Yes, sir. There it is. Yeah. All right. Small trading here, man. 9 cents. But here we go. Like we said, you're trading other people's money. You're putting some risk on. So let's see what happens here with Open Door. Nice downside. Okay, 13s. Here we go. All right, so far so good here for Open Door. Open Door and Amazon, the two trades we have on. I have like 40 times the shares in Open Door than I do on Amazon. So here we go. Let's figure this out.
Yeah, absolutely. Good look over there. I just wanted to quickly say, where was it in the chat? Oh, I tried to get to you. Aura Alpha. You'd think BMNR would hold WorldCoin. Well, they don't have to. The whole idea is that it's a treasury. Like, OCTO is a treasury, right? So if they bought shares in OCTO, then in theory, that's them holding. But I have no idea. But that's the other. You don't know. You don't know if Dan Ive owns any WorldCoin or whatever, or anybody actually is involved in it. You do know that OCTO is doing it, and OCTO continues to bleed as that just hit the low. Not the low of the day, the low of the afternoon. So they are giving up the bid rather precipitously here. Just hit 47, still up 3,000% at the end of the day. Like, this thing is, you know, it's probably minted. Well, let's be real. There's probably at least a few people that have become millionaires off of this thing, because up 3,000%, people make bets on penny stocks and small cappers all the time. So I would imagine a few people are probably still holding on to this really well. And obviously BMNR bought at $1.46, $20 million worth. I'm guessing they've taken some out. If they have not done so, then they would be psychotic, in my opinion. Rusty Dutch, 4,000% is not good enough. I tend to think it's good enough. If you're not taking profit at 4,000%, what are you doing? They're going to do an offering at some point and buy more WorldCoin or whatever the heck that thing is. And when they do so, you're just essentially going to get rugged on it. So you might as well be taking the profit if you can. And a lot of people are doing it for sure. Any news on LAC, Caleb? Not that I'm aware of on LAC at all. If we are getting anything on them, who knows? The only earnings name that we're going to see, of course, after the bell is going to be that CASY's. And my curiosity is going to be, what the heck does OCTO do? Because I can see that thing dropping or ripping $15 in the aftermarket tonight. Now, the Qs are still catching a little bit of a bid here. So while the Qs are coming up, yeah, I should just punch out of this thing. We're going to bounce off the volume weighted average price. I can get flat on this or just a couple of cents, then I might as well take it. Because 5 minutes to go, I want eyeballs to be on MIR. If it stays or grows as an imbalance, I want to add to this position. It's holding the low for now, which is good, but it's a 5.5 million buy imbalance while trading at the low of the day. So let's see if this one can actually be a large one. You never really know, but I want it to be over 10 million shares. It's supposed to be 26. 5 million isn't that big. And Pranet in the chat just asked, how do you get the imbalance locator? I can tell you here at Real Trading, we have it built into the system. If you have level 2 access at your broker, then technically speaking, you should be able to see it because it is in the SIP, but you gotta ask your broker if they have it available for you to see it. If you're getting quotes, then you should have the chance to be able to look at it.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Here's another. I mean, we only started trading Open Door a half hour ago, and there it is now, cleared out P&L, every other name. And the only other name that I have that's P&L, anything to talk about, is Robinhood. And now we add right to their big-time trade on Open Door. So there it is, man. Now we're really starting to fall out of this trade. So we talked about bidding 06s. We just got that. So far, so good. Thank you, Salvador, and everybody else too, man. I mean, this is what we're doing. We're building a community here and trying to show you that trading is something that, you know, with the right ideas and the right community and the right risk and all of that, that you too, you know, should be able to string together a couple good ideas, and at least we have one right here for Open Door. All right, so here we go. A 346 right now. Just a couple more minutes left. As we go, but here it is right now. Yeah, what's up to McCorby saying thanks for MIR. I don't know, Neil's talking about that. You're welcome, Yaneth as well, ATMV. Yeah, probably better to ask Neil and Adair all this as I'm working with this Open Door. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything here, yeah, let's finish strong, says Other Zinc. What's up to Roger as well? You took your OCT profit at 680%. Good idea, because I just saw it was flushing a little bit here, but I think that's really good there. What's up to Los Polos here as well? Yeah, Doge to $1. I think it got as high as like 60 cents or so. So shout out to Doge, 25 cents or so. I'm in and out of Doge. I haven't been in that for a while, but yeah, hopefully here we go. BABA, yeah, top move right now for BABA. I don't know if that's you, Daniel B, your #1 trade, but again, thank you so much. As you know, the market is just every day is. I don't know. I really, obviously, since I've been here for started in 2002. But yeah, just trading these markets has given a lot of opportunities. And here we go again, just for Open Door alone, approaching 500 million shares. Will we get there? We'll see whatever this imbalance is. But I just took another piece out there at 07 right now, as we'll just wait and see where it goes. There's only 2 minutes now until the imbalance is. I have nothing else left. So my stop out for Open Door was 7 cents. We had 630. Which was right where this 200 period moving average is. So we'll just keep it there. I don't expect it to come back. We can adjust it to 625. Maybe we'll just do that in case it gets run. I don't know. Maybe we do run. So let's go right now, 626, which means it'll still stay profitable for us. We're short at 24s. Plus, you've been taking the profit out right now. So there goes Open Door. Like I said, you never know where the bread's going to be buttered. And there goes Open Door. I mean, I wrote down Open Door on here today. BABA, TQs, HOOD, AMD. We did not actually write down Open Door, so we'll have to wait for it. OCTO right here again, 46. So look, we paid for shorts to take this 55 break. We missed it, but the 55 break cash right there for OCTO. Never gone against it, never even looked at it again. We came back into 53s or so, 54s, and but that 55 break, what a solid one, man. I wish we would have crossed a little bit deeper, but there it goes. OCTO, good call. So we made the call on OCTO, we made the call on Open Door, and yeah, all good right there. Whoever voted lower for the Nasdaq, right now losing.
It just lost.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait to see. You're losing right now, so we'll wait to see here, but we're not losing trading today here. So, I mean, if you're green, we're green trading on this side, as I know some of you are, and some of you are going to be red, but it's Monday, so we got 4 more days ahead. So far, so good there on Open Door as it's getting good into here. What's up, Harry Lou? Yeah, look, I'll talk about it there at some point. We only have 10 minutes left. We'll talk about how we got involved as well. And yeah, hiring Neil seems to have been a good move. So we like that. And we'll see what happens here. 606, 607 right now for Open Door. I don't know. I'm looking for a 6 break. We'll see what these imbalances say in 3 seconds.
Yeah, I got out most in front of VWAP on MIR, and then it came back, put the stop at break even before the imbalances hit, but it just hit at 350. I did not see an up, there we go. It's only 2.8 or now 2.5, 2.4 million to sell. And that's the thing, you want it to be larger ideally, but the move still came into VWAP, and they said that's what you look for it in the volume weighted average price, and if it comes out bigger, then we add to the position. It didn't come out bigger, so we get a break even, but you always want to have a stop at 350 on those imbalance plays. NVIDIA's 3.8 million to the sell side. Despite that, I guess, positive story, it doesn't look like it's going to seem to matter here. AUR doesn't really matter. Intel's a small sell, 1.3 million to the sell side. Nothing much else. NCLH is a 1 million sell. That had a bit of a drop this afternoon. NCLH was breaking down earlier, and now a sell balance of 1 million. Alphabet's 900,000 to sell. Looks like the market's 1.3 billion overall. Of course, NVIDIA now 4 million to sell is going to be the biggest one, but it's a disappointing number for that MIR. You're expecting, I wanted double digits. And if it's not going to be double digits, unless this thing starts growing, I don't think there'll be a hold to the close type trade. Sometimes the scalp trade and the momentum trade is the only one for these imbalances. And by the time it comes to the close, you better have already had it, and the move is already gone. That's exactly what happened here. So being able to play this, and that's why we show you guys the early look all the time, because it's information that most traders are able to see. Stocks trading at the low, it's a buy and bounce. You get in one time, it goes right into VWAP there. That's all you got to really take. If I see this thing in the next 2 or 3 minutes amp up again and get back 5, 6, 7 million shares to the buy side, then I'd probably try at least one more shot to punch in and then throw an order to try to take the auction. But unless that happens, I'll probably stay out.
All right, 8 minutes left, and yeah, so open door coming right back in, man. I'm bidding O2s. We'll take a little bit of a bid there, and if it wants to crack through O's, let's just see the action. We're getting lighter and lighter. I only have 25% left on this trade because it is a little nerve-wracking heading into the imbalances, and when you got shares on, you just want to cover them. So yeah, this is actually done quite well there. The only trade of any real, there we go. All right, so that's 22 cents right there, 8% or so. 20 cents, let's see, now down 9.5%, sorry. Therefore, open door as, yeah, we really hitting that. The only trade of any real profit or anything today, Robinhood, again, up to 117, 118, closing in on that all-time high. So, wow, we called 112 to 116.50. That was a good one there. But looks like it's continuously making new highs here into the close. So congratulations. Okay, open door. Let's see what you got for me right now through $6. So here comes in open door. Looks like it wants to break. We've got the short, man. We're short here at $6.24. So 20 cents in. Just a little bit of a bounce off there. Let's bid 4s right now on open door. Tonight's game, Chicago, Minnesota. Who do you have? It's pretty much a pick 'em.
I'm going with the Bears. I can't go. I don't know what to make of JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
I just think it's too risky to go with him. I know the Bears defense is a little bit better, and I like what they've done on offense.
Yeah, they got Ben Johnson over there. The guy
getting Ben Johnson,
the Lions,
getting the tight end that they got, and I love Burden as well. They got good receivers there. I have an idea of what that team's going to look like. I have no idea what Minnesota's going to look like. But at least we stayed away from them in the. Actually, nobody took them in the suicide.
Yeah. Well, it's a pick 'em game.
Yeah. Well, some people made some really silly picks on some of the pick 'ems, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a tougher week if you tried to step outside the box. Yeah, I think Minnesota, I mean, what, a 14-win team with Sam Darnold? Yeah, I think the Bears have been a dumpster fire my whole life, so I think they're going to be a dumpster fire again. So I will take Vikings. I like that there, Byron, on the money line. And what could be a high-scoring game, although there is some good defenses over there. I'm starting the Vikings defense tonight as well, so we'll see what they want to do. But, okay, so yeah, open door looks like it wants to bounce off of $6. So good out there. My best out is 602. And unfortunately, everybody, we have about 15% left. So we'll wait to see what happens with open door, sitting on our hands a little bit here, just in case not only are they freezing, but we also don't need to get out of this. There it comes right back up to the upside. So with still about 15% left of open door, let's just see where we go here into the close. Looks like the market will be about flat from our vote right there. So I voted for lower than 0.5. So we're right about there right now. So we'll see 5 minutes left.
Yeah, and guess what, everybody? We've talked about this before with Trade the Pool, and people always say you got to risk more to make more. At least that's how it used to be with Trade the Pool. Now they're now changing the game. It's the new revolution in trading. You don't need a large deposit. Trade the Pool is built for any trader who wants to grow without putting everything on the line. Just small skin in the game and you're trading real capital. So here's how it works. Pay a one-time evaluation fee starting at $47 and that is your total risk. From there, you trade real shares, no CFDs, using company capital. Head to tradethepool.com or scan the QR code you see on screen, and we'll welcome them in a couple of months. It's actually next month. What am I talking about? It's October. Yep. Literally 1 month from now, we'll welcome them. We'll see. Oh, we should have Mitch on tomorrow, and we'll be able to talk to him, see what he's looking at into this Fed decision next week. Just a quick note that MIR, absolutely nothing. Looks like it's a nothing burger. It didn't grow, so I'm not going to punch back into it. 3 million shares. 12 million paired off. That's less than what it was in the early look, and that's much lower than we were expecting to see on the imbalance. But you got to be ready for it because the day that it comes out, gigantic. Like if HOOD has a huge one, you want to be able to take it on those days.
Yeah, good call on Robinhood for sure. I mean, we talked about that a little bit today. Look what's happening right here with our friend, not anymore, Amazon. I mean, we were shorting Amazon the whole ride, and then eventually, whoops, all the way to the downside right there as well. So it looks like with only a few minutes left, we're gonna have to cover our open door right there. I want to look at JP Morgan. Okay, it's still flat or so on the day as the Nasdaq and the ES, both half. So half the Nasdaq is the ES right now. So we're gonna wait to see if the Nasdaq and the ES hold green right now. So it's just CASY's into the close. So join Neil and Adara for the closing trade. And then I think it's Oracle maybe tomorrow. We have a couple good earnings reports coming later on this week, but light for tonight. So I'm excited. I got it. My son's opening up a bank account. So I'm going to get home, open one up for him there. And then we're going to go get some new shoes. So he's going to go to some sort of we're going to go find out where to go there, maybe some Nike outlet, whatever. We'll figure that out for him. But yeah, we're excited for that. And my daughter has hockey today.
You get them school kicks, man.
Oh yeah. He has some older Jordans. He's going to get a new pair today. Oh, he has LeBrons, I think, actually.
I don't know. I showed everybody. My daughter got, Erin, you know her. She got the braids for school. So, but she wanted the color, like the red.
Yeah.
She actually wanted
eccentric. Yeah, I see the way she dresses.
Oh yeah. She's very. Well, the thing is, once we like to give her freedom.
I noticed.
And it's like, look, at the end of the day, I'm like, as long as you're not, like, there's limits. Obviously, if she picked something out that I thought was inappropriate, I wouldn't. I might
inappropriate
say something.
Different.
But you want to dress in the crazy colors? I really don't care.
Like, won't she wear different color socks?
Oh, she'll never wear the same two socks.
Right.
And if she has pants, they got to be colorful.
I noticed. I was gonna say,
She has to express herself, and I'm like I'm totally down with that because that's more my brother than me. Which I'm more. You can see I'm more straight laced. So at the end,
really,
you can't tell. Of course, everybody can tell that. And she doesn't get it from my wife because it's not like Rebecca's that way or anything.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so it's great. No, she's great. I'm just saying, cool. I always see that she's wearing like her own little things.
But it took 4.5 hours for her braids.
Oh, really? Yeah.
4.5 hours. And I was telling Obi, she did not need a break. She just the whole time, just like a soldier. I'm like, 4.5 hours for a kid to stay still, because you got to stay still too. That's been intense. I got to get up to the desk, apparently.
Get over there.
But it's only CASY's. Get some pizza.
Get some pizza and some gas.
I can't go this way anymore.
Okay, so not doing much here. Just waiting for. I'm actually bidding 03s right now on Open Door. I don't know if hopefully it comes in. There's a Nasdaq buying right now. We'll see if we can take 20 cents at the end of the day. Look, our best fill is 02s, so we'll take an 03 fill here with only a minute left. We want to thank everybody for staying with us. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button as well. Make sure you join us tomorrow. Okay, we only have 100 likes, but that's obviously not right. There we go. We get our 03s right there as now it's coming back in. We've got to push play to see how many likes we have. 575. So hit the like button. Thank you so much for watching again here today. And there goes Open Door. So we just wound up getting out of it. We did talk about it, man. 90% looking like we will get that double rate cut, 25 basis points. The double cut, which would be 50 basis points, we haven't had that in a minute. That looks like there's 10% chance of that happening September 17th. So coming up right now, we won't close at the very highest spot of myself today as we took some hits, with Alibaba and Amazon there, a little bit AMD, but made it all back with Robinhood and Open Door. And, we made double on Open is what we lost everywhere else. So there's the countdown is now on. This closing show is brought to you by VinFast. So So make sure you do check that out with only 6 seconds left. Ticker VSS 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now there it is, man. The market is now closed. And what a good day it was for the Nasdaq. Finishing, honestly, I can't make this up. I have 0.4, 0.5 right there. So it looks like this bet, whoever bet zeros basically wins. But I bet lower, so it looks like lower may win, but I think that was a wash. So Nasdaq didn't do much the rest of the afternoon right there. There's our bet right there, 1,500 of you. And, you know, no one had a real strong opinion, and it looks like for good cause there. All right, I'm out of here. I got to go. I got to drop off some baseball bats as well. So I'll talk to everybody tomorrow. It's Adara and Neil. Ciao for now.
Thank you very much there, Sean. Your market recap show brought to you by Beta Pro by Globex starts right about now. And as Sean mentioned, the market closes kind of flattish. Not really. It's at 5% or 0.5% that everyone wanted. But you know what? The chat's undefeated because the way I see it, if it ends up pretty much where it started and the vote was more or less 50-50, then we were spot on. Like the market, the sentiment that everyone had in the chat was dead on. But there's no story. It's just nothing that's going to be able to compare to what we saw in OCTO, OCTO. And just to keep in mind, this stock up 3,000%. 3,000%. As they announced Dan Ives in a WorldCoin treasury. It was $1.46 at Friday's close. And BMNR bought, I think it was maybe $1.40.
It was BMNR.
BMNR bought $20 million worth at $1.46. I believe Friday's close was $1.45. That doesn't really matter that much. So like that's up a bajillion percent. Up 3,000% on $20 million. Obviously they've done really well with it. At one point, this was at $80 and 55,000% higher, doing a tremendous amount of volume. Certainly a lot of traders would have done really well with this name to the upside. Just a squeeze play du jour. And easily, by far, the most explosive move we've seen in these rounds, Adara, of treasury plays. Because it's not the first one we've seen. I mean, BMNR itself. SBET we've seen before. And how many people had even heard of WorldCoin before today? I know I had never heard of it, and I don't recall ever hearing anybody mention it in the chat either. Like this feels like it was a new one, but it got people excited. As always, all the caution that you want to think about buying something like this. It's such a ridiculous high, or ridiculous is maybe not the right word, but it seems like the right word to me. Just be cautious with it. But this was by far the biggest story today.
Yeah, I mean, great look there for OCTO. Open Door also tried to continue to do its thing. Shout out to Eric Jackson and his friends over there in Open Door World. But yeah, with regards to OCTO, congrats to everybody in the chat who was in this. I know there were quite a few of you. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this whole, getting involved in these treasury plays nonsense for like the, Tom Lee's. And I think, I actually still think the Dan Ives thing is less, in my opinion, suspicious than Tom Lee, because WorldCoin is not a coin we know a lot about, right? Like no one has really heard much of it, although shout out to Snowman in the chat saying that you bought WorldCoin under $1 a year ago, so shout out to you. But I think generally, compared to Ethereum, which is, if not a household name, pretty close, right?
Yes.
So my issue more is Tom Lee getting involved and then just using it as an excuse to pump Ethereum on CNBC. So I view Dan Ives' move here as less morally sketchy with that in mind. But again, to each their own. I'm not trying to judge. I'm only trying to provide my opinion on the matter. And my opinion is, I don't know how I feel about, technical analysis, to go this and this high when you are
Well, here's the way.
You have your own personal agenda, I guess.
Here's the way I look at it. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And if we live in a world where no one has any problem with the Berkshires of the world or whoever it might be, like nobody ever has an issue when Warren Buffett says, I'm buying this for this reason, and then the stock goes up. And it's like a free 5-10. Just knowing that Berkshire was involved, you get that same run. So if others are going to take advantage of it, more power to them. I'd rather that than the alternative, which is people talking something up and then you don't know that they have a position in it. They're just not upfront with it. As long as you're honest with people, I own a bunch of this thing. I stand to benefit from the thing that I'm telling you right now. Like that kind of a thing makes, I get it. people are probably at some point in this, I don't know when, at some point in this, there will be a rugging. That just almost always is the case. We saw it with SBET, no questions asked. You throw up a chart of SBET, and this went to $120, and then within, call it a week, it was down at $30, and then after that hit $9, and what's it trading at? Trading in the mid-teens right now. So you certainly can see these rug pulls happen in these treasury plays. Whether or not this one's going to be able to hold up here remains to be seen. But it's a heck of a lot of fun for anybody that was in the long. And then the other story, which started out the day, and when you came in, we sat down this morning, I mean, the Robinhood and AppLovin was the biggest story at Dara, and then it turned into the OCTO show. But Robinhood and AppLovin being added, or will be added to the S&P 500, the wait is over. 2 weeks today is when they're going to be doing the addition, I believe it's the 22nd, and Robinhood held out up double digits, highly anticipated, I would say almost the entire year. Anytime you even mentioned adding to the S&P 500, Robinhood's name came up, and it's finally happened. It caused it to go basically to an all-time high. Might have missed it by a few pennies in here, but strong day for Robinhood, and the continuation is certainly possible. Now, the only caveat I would say is almost all of these additions to the S&P 500 have at some point after the announcement ended up being a bit of a sell event to fill in the gap. They just tend to fill in the gap at some point. I think the trade desk might have been the most recent example of that.
Yeah, trade desk didn't even really pop before it sold off. That one didn't even give you a really nice rally.
No, but I think eventually it did pick back up. Like the trade desk,
that's fair.
It pulled back, it filled in the gap. You know, it gave you your run up, it filled in the gap, and then eventually did do a run. But I would point out that usually like a day or two or shortly after you get that addition, you tend to make a high. And as much as we've concentrated on Robinhood, you know, AppLovin probably deserves some credit for the move that it had today. It also made some fresh highs and had a strong day. It ended up double digits itself. It's just that it's not much of a day trading stock. And of course, more interest in Robinhood for obvious reasons, right? It's just the kind of stock that traders are going to be more engaged in.
Yeah, sorry, so we have some intel news here, guys. INTC noticing a whole bunch of leadership changes. So an individual by the name of Kevork Kachikian is going to be leading their data center group. Naga Chandrasekaran is, I guess, expanding their role to include foundry services. Jim Johnson has been named the SVP, so Senior Vice President and General Manager of their CCG unit. I have to look into that, but here's the most interesting thing. Michelle Johnston Holthouse, who was briefly the interim CEO of Intel and also normally serves as their CEO of Intel Products, she's going to be leaving the company. So a little bit of a switch up here at Intel, INTC. Not super shocking. It is Intel. It does do this. But interesting look. I'm going to have to look more into this CCG thing. But INTC, a little bit more turmoil, it looks like.
Yeah, you can just never seem to have a dull moment for that stock, except for actually looking at the sideways action on a longer-term chart. Like you zoom it out far enough, and Intel just can't seem to get off the schneid. But this was just pointed out by Kerwin, which I don't believe we might have forgotten to mention this, because the current story on Robinhood is the biggie, obviously being added to the S&P 500, but the HOOD summit is tomorrow after market.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Robinhood, they just call it the HOOD Summit. The Robinhood Summit is after market 5:30. So in tomorrow's recap show, like that'll still be pre that summit. So Robinhood, another catalyst is going to be incoming. As far as catalyst this afternoon, and we do have CASY's, but CASY's is not reporting until I believe, Adara, you mentioned 4:30.
Yes.
Yeah, so that we're not expecting that till 4:30. For anyone that wants the juice on CASY's, it is an expected move of 8%. It did more than that last earnings, went 11% on its last earnings run. And this is a name had a pretty good day here today and very, very close to its highs. Like it's just a stone's throw away from breaking out some of those highs. Oddly enough, it is priced that 8% implied move pretty much would take you, if you look at this gap right here, back into, I guess that's like June, right back into 480. It's pretty much exactly the 8% if it went to the downside to that support level. If they happen to miss, that would be something you want to pay attention to, because it's kind of like the first obvious, even 490s there, but 480, the first obvious area to look for a dip, and it just so locks up with that 8% move. A lot of times I find this to be true, where a significant down move ends up hitting a support level on some of these earnings names, and that's just the options market knowing what they're doing and people making bets that make a lot of sense. But yeah, these treasury plays are a big story. Of course, earnings still a big story. We're gonna have Oracle a little bit later on in the week. I know we're gonna have Michael Noss joining us as well. I can't wait to get his thoughts on WorldCoin and what happened in OCTO, because that was, you don't see something like this happen every single day, Adair. It's completely, it's unprecedented in the way that you might see over the course of 5 to 10 years, one name every 1 or 2 years that has a move like OCTO.
I only remember one other prior to this.
Yeah, and that's, to me, I can remember, obviously I can remember DWAC and HKD.
Yeah.
But things like this, Tempest,
Yeah.
just you don't see things like this very often. And it's certainly unique.
Pretty well, yeah.
Yeah, and well, do you guys let me know if we have Michael, because we are locked on. We do have Michael. Okay, we are ready for the Trader Talk. Just wanted to make sure that we had the Nos boss locked and loaded. And I don't think I'm going to be able to put him on the spot for this Trader Talk. He has to have looked at OCTO today. There's no way any trader didn't. My button's not working. Oh no. Michael, welcome back. We saw you this morning, and obviously this was before this the turmoil and the insanity that happened in this OCTO stock. So first off, hope the trading day went well for you. And did you look at this thing?
It went great. I looked at it briefly and then reminded myself there's no way I'm going to touch something like this, and moved on to something else.
Okay, so here's the first question. You've talked about crypto before. You talked about it again this morning. We always mention, and it's in the terms of we go through, it's Bitcoin rallies, and then other things start to follow along with it. This type of a move on another announced treasury, on a token that I don't know anybody even talked about before this gives you concerns for a top, even a little bit?
These treasury companies don't feel good. Now, I did listen to a podcast on the compound with Tom Lee, and he explained it and made me feel a little bit better about it. Like, I've met Tom Lee before, and I've met Dan Ives, who's leading this one before as well. I understand that the mechanics of them seem well thought out, and these are very intelligent people that are running them, but it does feel like it's something that we're going to point at in a couple of years. I don't know if it's next year or 10 years from now, and say, yeah, that was an obvious sign of the top. This, to me, feels like one of those things in which, if you zoom way out on this name, this OCTO, that even though the short float wasn't crazy, it was only 2% or so. This was like a $7,000 stock at one point that crashed all the way to $1. This to me feels a little bit more like just kind of hype and speculation, because if you look at the coins kind of around this, they didn't really move too much. And same with Tom Lee's stake of BMNR, didn't really participate too much in this move either, which doesn't make a lot of sense, because if this company owns that other company, you think they would get a big lift from it. So this to me feels like kind of a one-off end of summer retail speculative craziness. I expect to see this stock in a couple days back where it came from, and we'll forget about it. But we got to remember, again, BMNR did the same thing. It went from $3 to $180 and then came back to 43. So with OCTO, maybe it's not going to go back to $1. Maybe it hits $10 or something, and that's considered fair. But definitely just a game of musical chairs, if nothing else, for people just buying and selling to the next guy.
You're so right. Like, at one point, the position that BMNR had in this was on paper worth like 12% of its own market cap. Like usually, like you think it would have a bit more of a bump when you see something like that. So it goes to show it is really just about the momentum at this particular point, and sort of to everyone out there, just be cautious with it. At the end of the day, these things it doesn't have to make sense for you to make money in it, but if it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't mean you have to hold it forever or try to treat it as some kind of an investment and not just a short-term trade.
Well, and bubbles can be great, right? I remember always the famous George Soros quote that whenever I see a bubble, I run right into it. So it's one of these things like the game of musical chairs. If you have a plan to be one of the last guys seated, you're going to have a good time here. I don't think this is one of those, again, that you're going to wake up and it's $1 tomorrow, but you always got to put yourself in the shoes of the company. You would be insane, and that was the tweet that I put out today, you would be insane to not do an offering at this price after this move. So there's going to be an offering at some point. That's going to be dilutive at some point. And you know it's going to happen, but it's have fun while it occurs. Yeah, this one right here. Have fun while it occurs, but then just make sure you have a plan to get out. That's what we do as traders. And it's only going to be the people that are going to be left holding the bags with the deer in the headlight look. They're going to have a bad time. I think there's room for other people to have a fun time, at least for the next few days.
Yeah, definitely they'll have some fun. I love that. I love that little tweet that you had there, or post, I suppose, on X, rushing to get the offering letter ready. They'd be insane not to. I mean, come on. Like, it just, to be perfectly honest, it would be. It's just simply due diligence. Like, how could you not take advantage of that much volume and that much liquidity at high prices to not raise capital? That's the entire point of this game. I'd like to point out, I think I could take Forrest Gump in a race. Personally, I don't think he looks all that fast. Tom Cruise looks faster when he runs. I'm sure you could take him in a race too, there, Michael. But okay, so let's get off OCTO for a quick little second. Like, what else? It stole so many eyes today, but there were some pretty traditional opportunities that were out there, whether you were looking at Robinhood or AppLovin for a lot of people. And I know you were looking at something that you posted, DBI, which that's not something that I have looked at. So something a little bit new here, Michael. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with these left for dead companies that seem to be kind of rising from the ashes recently. And, I encourage anyone that follows me to bring me names like this. And this doesn't mean companies that are in downtrends that have sold off, but show me something that has stopped going down for around a year. So when DBI came through our system, and this is a pullback algorithm that we run at Stats Edge, about 57% or so accurate and like a 1.5 to 1. So a really solid strategy overall. And the idea is that we're looking for, very harsh pullbacks in things that were really strong last week. And that's what we're seeing here in DBI. But when you zoom out, I kind of drew it out as an inverse head and shoulders. But really, you take a look at it and it could just be a low base. And I always say for a stock to start going up, it has to first stop going down. And that's kind of what I see here in DBI as something that stopped going down. And there's been a few of these. Like, if, you guys were mentioning Robinhood. If you zoom out, Robinhood gave the absolute perfect, I drew out the cup and handle there, but really it stopped going down in February of 2022. It didn't break out again until February 2024. So that's 2 years of this not going down. Another name that I'm participating in is this Outlet, because I've given them a whole bunch of money since I've had 2 children in the length of time that this thing has stopped going down. So it seems like a lot of these companies that were priced for bankruptcy, and I think DBI may have been like a tariff thing. That's why it got hammered so hard. When they don't die and they're kind of priced as if they're going to, they can get really good turnaround opportunities. Some people call them zombie companies or something like that. But yeah, this is one that's kind of standing out as, spend about a year not going down. Maybe it's going to enter that kind of phase 2 uptrend that we all look for.
And I love the glow in your face when you talk about being a dad. It's always amazing. Dara has a question for you here, Michael.
I do, Michael. IPOs have very much been on watch as of late. We had a whole bunch of interesting ones over the last few months. CoreWeave, Circle, Figma, bullish among them. We're going to be maybe getting, I think, Klarna scheduled for Wednesday. That should be a decent one as well. They're reportedly going to price it at the higher end or actually above the expected range. So with that in mind, is the Klarna IPO something you're watching, or do you have any ideas with any of these other recent IPOs?
Yeah, I have a very simple strategy for all IPOs. and they're based in what I can test, right? I'm a quant by nature, a quant and a technician. And one thing that I always kind of mention when people bring up IPOs, the stat that it's 80 some odd % of companies will undercut their IPO price in the first year. So I never get too excited to maybe trade it on the first couple days. But what I want to do is I want them to sell off. Like I'm looking at Figma here. And then a couple of ways to do it. One, I know people will sometimes just buy back through the IPO price, right? So Figma, the price that actually launched on the exchange, which is about $85 for Figma. So you say, hey, if you set an alert, and if it ever gets back through $85, that might be the trade. And then the other thing is this blue line right here is the anchored VWAP. And the reason I love this, and I love all of Brian Shannon's work on VWAPs, but this makes the most sense to me because it's kind of like your VWAP for the day, where the day opens and you track your VWAP through the entire day. Well, Figma opened, and this is kind of the birth of this company as a publicly traded equity, and you can anchor your VWAP from the IPO, and you know that sitting roughly around the same price, around $87 or so on this one, is where the average person who's believes in the company and kind of dollar cost averaging into it, that's where that they would sit, around $87. So I'm not going to trade it on the first week or so anyway, but if we get an undercut of the IPO price, we spend some time under there, and then we start to trade back up through it, I'm certainly interested to take those trades because A, you're trading with the trend now as it's moving higher. B, you know right where you're wrong. You're putting your stop at the low of whatever that move is. And sometimes, every now and then, you get a company that's going to be your next Google or Amazon or whatever that all IPO'd at some point. And the one that I always go back to show people, for those who want to know, it's not Facebook anymore. You're old. It's Meta now. If you look at this pattern, this is a monthly chart of Meta, and it did the same thing. So it IPO'd in 2012. Sold off from like $45 all the way to $17. And if you had just waited and said, okay, I'm going to wait for it to kind of get back through that IPO price, then, well, now you're long Meta at $50 as the thing is for 700 and something now. So yeah, just like most things, it's good to be patient. It's good to set up a plan like that. But with all these IPOs, I have them on watch for that particular setup.
Yeah, and I think it's a great setup. You pulled up, Michael, the chart of Meta, but you could have actually even just used, you can use Robinhood as a recent example of that as well. And I happen to have that up just in case, because I think for a lot of people, if you didn't see Meta or Facebook at the time, Robinhood did a very similar thing. It was good for a few days and then just absolutely cratered. And this one, you can say it took a while, but it was a couple of years. And when it broke, whether you took it when it broke back above like the first day levels, that actually was a good entry point. Or if you simply, even late, if you waited for like the wick high even, like all of these technical levels ended up playing really well to the point where Michael, I would look at almost any large size IPO for that setup as a swing. Brian, but here's a question I wanted to ask you, and I know you run a lot of studies on this. Is there anything that changes based on, is there any market sentiment? Like when you look at, as you're taking out that IPO price again, is there anything that would have you look at it, oh, well, it's getting through this technical level 1 year after or 2 years after debuting? Could something about the market get you away from just saying, okay, I buy here?
I do have, so for us quanters, we just call them regime filters, where you're trying to figure out what regime the market is in. And the best example of that is, what sandbox am I playing in? And I do a lot of that, and it has to do, generally speaking, with things like positioning and breadth data. And so if, for example, a whole bunch of stocks are under their 50-day moving average as a way to say how healthy is the market underneath the hood, then I certainly wouldn't be chasing breakouts as much. I'd more be chasing pullbacks. On Friday, the presentation that I gave was actually talking about that we are entering an election cycle and a potential bull market cycle that could lead to a period of choppy action. Generally speaking, between now until the midterms, you get a choppy period in the market. So I'll look at those things and say, okay, maybe I'm not going to chase the breakout, but maybe I'll wait for the breakout to occur and then kind of take the pullback. So to go back to DBI that we were talking about, this particular setup. I've actually just made a video about it that's going to launch in a moment here about this. And the reason I like these setups, I think, more going into the next year or so is just because they're playing this kind of chop and volatility. I'm looking for names to pull in, and I'm going to buy them as they're pulling in and sell them as they're bouncing. And yeah, that has a lot to do with what's happening in the market. Quantifying that becomes a little bit more complicated. I think that's an area that there could be some discretion, even for systematic traders, to kind of get a vibe of what the market's doing and whether it's a breakout kind of market or a pullback kind of market.
Yeah, I think that's perfect insight. So I tried to sneak something in there that was going to throw you for a bit of a loop, and again, it fails. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to keep trying there, Michael. And I had a mentor in trading who used to say, if you can identify the type of market that you're trading in on any time frame, that's the golden goose. You always want to keep it in the back of your mind, but if every single day you could identify it to the T, obviously you'd be doing really well. And it just goes to show anyone with a process has to have some kind of a notion of, okay, well, a breakout's working better, or are we in a dip buy market? And if you can, even that small thing, Michael, it can do you wonders. Like an example, just for a day trader even, if you were looking at, say, Robinhood today, dip buy versus breakout, like at the open, dip buy would have saved you a ton of money versus the breakout. Both would have worked. But of course, the dip buy would have done much, much better if you've been a little bit patient. I think that's sort of what you're getting at. Before we get you out of here, Michael, I just want to say there's a couple of people in the chat, I don't know if you were in there, that did want to say congratulations on being father 2 times over. And,
thank you very much.
I just wanted to make sure you saw that. But anything else that you wanted to get to that you didn't get a chance to talk to before we get you out of here?
Just crypto in general, right? I talked about that in the early session. I am currently working on, so stay tuned as things go on. I've been able to source data for many different coins going back a long time. What I'm looking for is to build crypto systems in which I can trade them the same way I trade equity systems, which is robotically and systematically and with an edge. However, just looking across the board here on crypto, it feels like something big is about to happen. So Ethereum, if you just look at the last couple weeks and even zooming into the last couple days, we've done nothing. And that's generally speaking not something to be interested in, but we've done nothing at this major resistance point, and Ethereum being a big one for some of these altcoins. And then if you look at Solana, it's kind of the same thing, right? Solana's been a little bit stronger today, but has been consolidating very, very tight and then right under prior highs here. So it feels like we are getting somewhere. We're getting volatility is mean reverting. So when we get really, really tight on crypto, at some point we have an explosion higher. The fact that we had a stock go up like 7,000% that was crypto related today, that is interesting to me. So if anything, I'm really watching for a potential next bull leg in kind of the altcoin, meme coin kind of area. And if we get that, obviously that will be a lot of fun because those things are always really fun to trade.
No doubt about it. Maybe not as crazy as OCTO, but then that works in both directions because it's actually now cut in half from its highs. So it's only up bajillion%. It doesn't really matter. $40 that thing just got to. But Michael, it's always a pleasure having you. We look forward to, of course, talking to you again at the end of the week. And best of luck on all of your trades. Good luck over there on DBI. That's a new one. I haven't heard anyone talk about designer brands, and sometimes those bottom picks can be incredibly profitable. So best of luck on that trade. Thanks again, Michael. Look forward to talking to you on Friday again.
Talk to you on Friday. Thanks for having me.
Take care, brother.
See ya.
My button works. Oh my goodness. Fabian, this is the issue. I'm so used to the button not working that now I'm forgetting to actually hit my Trader Talk button. And this is it's muscle memory at this point. That the magic just gets done for me. Now I gotta hit my own keys now? What is going on here? Oh, you don't have to hit that. It's not I don't want anyone feeling sorry for me. I have to reach over here and just hit a button that says Trader Talk. It's not that difficult, but I just make it difficult. It wasn't that difficult if you were long on OCTO, although now it hit $40. I was saying it hit $40. The pullback on it has been real. Do not forget, Robinhood, big story, of course, getting added to the index. They do have their event tomorrow. It is after the market tomorrow at 5:30. Yeah.
For my purpose. I'll be busy with Apple, so we're all good. I'll get over it.
Well, that's the big thing. Apple, new iPhone. Obviously, the stock has been doing generally pretty well, but let's be real, Adara. Sometimes on the day of the event,
I did research on this. I can talk about the stats.
Well, let's get before.
Yeah,
hold on a second. Let's go to Adara first. We've got an event tomorrow.
If I may, I do want to get into this. So I did some research, and I know I had said previously, it mainly goes down on these days. So actually, when I finally finished all the research, which is now posted on X at TTV Research, there are a ton of infographics. I'll just show the kind of summary. There are 4 others, though, if you want more specific moves. So as you can see, lately, we've really steadied out. Like, it doesn't really move more than 2% now on these days. But the average negative move is about 3.8%. The average positive move is only less than 2%.
Yeah.
And it moves, it was red half the days, green half the days. So with that in mind, you've got a 50-50% chance of red or green. But if it's red, it's going to be a lot weaker than it will be if it's green, like in terms of strength. You know what I mean? So the average move across these 18 days was just over negative 1%. It's like negative 0.97%. So we're probably going to have a red day tomorrow, statistically speaking, though if you actually go like 50-50, it could go either way.
There you go.
So the stats were weird, and I did a lot of analysis, X on TTV Research, if you want to read all of those ramblings and notes.
Oh, and also, well, because we made it to past 4:30, that does mean Casey's actually came out with their earnings.
Yeah, I'll look at those.
So Casey's General Stores did bump up here, only 3%. We were expecting an 8% implied move, up about 3 points here, 1.5 of that in the extended hours. Before we get to roll call, Adara, you can give the numbers.
Neil, they're near all-time highs. I was charting them because I was like, I'm curious. Yeah, it's actually a really nice look here in the chart. This could be spicy tomorrow. So Q1. EPS, $5.77, well above estimates of $5.07. Sales, $4.567 billion, above estimates of $4.476 billion. Now, their diluted EPS up 19% year over year. Its same-store sales up 4.3% year over year. Total inside gross profit up 14% year over year. Same-store fuel gallons up 1.7% year over year. Same-store operating expenses, including credit card fees, up 3%. Year over year. So generally this seems like year over year increases for CASY. This is a ticker I might be looking at because it is notably above $500.
Yeah, and it just reversed. It just went back to flat, like it was booming, and then now right back into flat here. So, it just goes to show in the aftermarket, anything can happen. Check out that price action tomorrow morning for a little more confirmation, because it's earnings season. The initial move hasn't been that useful to you. Big shout out to everyone. It's been a fantastic show. Good luck to everyone that might be holding on to that OCTO stock if you happen to be. Good luck with that. That stock is probably going to be almost as volatile tomorrow. Nothing can compare to what we saw today. But if you don't know how to be in roll call, jump in to the chat, but hit the subscribe to be in the chat, because it's a subs only chat. And Mr. Westermeyer, don't sleep on apple fritters. You're absolutely right. Casey's apparently has some good ones, which I have never had, which I should try out at some point. But Adara's about to drop a little bit of the roll call, so jump in there. Give a big thank you to the entire team, like we always do. Give a big pat on the back to yourselves for being the best crowd out there. Roll call starts now.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, CompuCare team. Thank you, Mr. Easy Street Death God. Okay, Andrew Chow, no, shout out to that name though. Andrew Chow, Douglas Carlson, Snowman, Mohammed, your Huckleberry, Ian Respeto, T-Man, Rich L, Hangry Wife, Mike Peter Ryder, Yorkie, S.A. Walker, Mike Peter Ryder again here, Havana Woody, Marie, Wisp Away, Green Day Dean, Bright Awakening, Mike Peter Ryder, Dat, Byron Hart, Got Rats, 420 Bud Monster, Grey Worm, Eric B, Showtime, Shanty, Mark L. Adrian, The Tranquil Channel, Lee Yee, Jason, Ian Respeto again here. We've got Brian Hart. We've got Josh Allen, MVP, says Neil in the chat. Liam Evans, Stanley Game, Durante Gordon. And we have Neil, we have Sharif, we have Joe, we have Sean, we've got Fabian, Ramin, Andre, Brendan, and someone in the chat here, Ian Respeto, wants you to do the Unity.
Unity.
There we go.
Also, the Bills make me want to shout. That's what I'm talking about. I had to say it at least once today. I waited till the end of the day. Thank you, everybody. Tomorrow, we got the Apple event, aftermarket. You've got Robinhood's event, and we have OCTO doing probably some OCTO crazy things like it did here today. All bright and early, so get some rest. come right back here at 8:30 tomorrow morning. We're Trader TV Live. This has been the Market Recap Show brought to you by Beta Pro, by Globex. We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.